Or maybe at the beginning of this, I might just hop AFK and jump in at the beginning.
We are now live, but you can take your moment if you want to go now.
Yep.
They're not in the lobby yet.
Woo, feet! Wait, why don't I see the lobby? What?
Because I didn't activate Radmin.
Oh, there it is. I see it. Okay.
I, too, open up my cast by saying ooh, feet.
Lard. Lard. Lard.
Lard.
Lard. Kind of like how Lard blurs the SD graphics and refunded to make it look worse. Coffee wasn't actually running it.
Absolutely owned. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the grand final. Mesk and I are tired, but here is the Shambler versus Mystery Meat.
Well, Mystery Meat knows the recipe to success. If you watch that last, he's just got to sit back and turtle for a really long time on two bases. Hope that Shambler gets so needlepoint focused in trying to break you with the ground units that you can just secretly expand elsewhere and start nuking him. But now that Shambler remembers analogs are a thing, I think he'll know how to deal with that if it comes down to it. But then again, I think Meat will play it like 1,000 times better than I did in that circumstance.
Yeah, I'm not sure we'll see too many of them, or if he's even going to chance it, because if you remember when you started to attack it with analogs earlier, the one thing that I'm noticing is that that's when the hash error occurred on Repulsion. So,
Oh, yeah.
it might not even be stable in that context.
I mean, he used him against, it kind of makes me think, like, when did the hash error happen in that replay we casted? Was that, like, around the same time the analog started getting used? And then it, like, desynced Alexander? I wonder if that's why that happened. But it only desynced him. That's strange.
Yeah, it could be like some vision reveal of the unit or something, right? If it's like trying to reveal the unit differently for I don't really know what it was, but it's like a vision thing. But let's hope we don't.
Which is a shame because they're so ridiculously powerful. Like, I wanted to be sure I killed him in that match, that I didn't like fuck up the attack and he suddenly could expand again because he had so many engrams and I didn't really know what was in his base. And then the analogs just like insta-gibbed half the siege I brought, and I was like, yeah, that was a lot of damage and not a very large number of units. So analogs are very, 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 very useful to have for Protoss for sure. That's your way of dealing with siege, apparently.
Well, we'll take a closer look at the interactions with the analog and etc. After this series, when we're working a little bit more on the project and pushing a big version change to release with the selection extender and all that. So, not this coming update that I'll ship pretty soon after this, but I'll push an update tomorrow, and then after that, we'll be working pretty heavily on trying to fine-tune a lot of those interactions. But, well, Shambler is... I thought he was smack-talking you a lot in that Nemesis station match, He was like, I wanted to end it in style, but you rolled Terran instead, or Protoss or whatever. He was not happy. Oh, no, it was on Equilibrium, actually. He's like, shame, I wanted to end it in style, and then you ended up taking it, so that was really funny to me.
Yeah, that match was just like, I was pretty sure I was dead right from the beginning. because I rolled Terran, but I was like, I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to do the mystery meat build.
Right.
And then I'm going to turtle until I feel comfortable enough to do a tech switch. But he took way more map control than I was expecting. Then again, I don't know like when I should attack or do anything with bio at that point. So for me, it was just enough to weather the attack and not die. But then he went really defensive, and I was like, okay, I can't actually do this. But then he like sat there and turtled for a really long time, and I'm like, well, he probably owns the entire map. But as the game went on, and I was able to repeatedly kill a large chunk of his forces, it became clear he did not actually own the map.
Yes.
And he actually wasn't as economically strong as I was figuring he was. And then he destroyed the side base several times, but then he got really lax in it. And then I started getting up to tier 3.5 and getting penumbras. And I was starting to get hippogriffs. And I was like, he's letting me get ion cannons. I'm killing his ground units. This game is actually winnable if I just keep tilting. And that's precisely why I went nukes. And you know, Mystery Meat is an incredibly cheesy person. And if he was at all paying attention to that, it really highlights like that's definitely like Shambler's biggest weakness.
Yes, absolutely.
Is like the mid and late where he will get really needle focused on something, and then that is when he is most vulnerable to tilting.
Yep. Yeah, I can echo that sentiment for sure. The longer the game goes on, and Mystery Meat is adept at being able to drag out the games or play defensively, that is going to result in a lot of Shambler typing.
If it starts lagging here, I'm just going to immediately leave because I think I had some, I don't know if it was my internet or there's just like, because there's this like strange behavior because someone else was also lagging when we were playing Warcraft 3 just like an hour ago. And, yeah, if mine blows up or starts lagging, then I'll drop out. But
yeah, for now,
I'm not so sure it was my internet.
Yeah,
so.
There's like a normal silly thing that was happening between you and Shambler earlier anyway, so who knows?
Yeah, that was particularly in the last
on Equilibrium, yeah, where there was tactical.
Yeah, it really messed up my timing, my micro. I couldn't all in with the Marines.
Yeah.
The Wyverns got too far ahead of where I wanted them to go. But yeah, I was gonna say like if Mystery was paying attention that he could go for mid late if he really didn't feel comfortable early on. Or he could just do his general cheesy shit. I don't know if he's really going to try to do that against Shambler at this point, but if he was paying attention, I think he would realize how easily it would be to re-tilt him.
Yes.
Because of the unique circumstance that this is the end of the day, and it was after those matches, and he's already tilted about Terran. But
he had an opportunity to wall in the
much...
Mason there. It's a small note. Obviously, Mist could have just then tasked himself onto a mineral field to decollide, but he could have maybe done something. It looks like the workers
I
will
still feel like on many of these maps it is possible to kill the first pylon with 2 workers. Any of the shorter maps, I feel like...
Well, Terran specifically, right? Because they can repair and they have really durable workers, and Masons attack faster than other workers. So there's a lot of things going in favor for them.
Yeah, at the very least, you're going to force them to pull a lot to stop. I know in one of our games, Shambler caused me a lot of problems because of that. He's gotten adept at harassing the workers, and I didn't want to lose one. I figured losing gas was worse, or not as bad as losing the worker, but... The Hierophant first, I'm not really so sure it's really that great against...
Well,
I don't think it's that great against mech, but against
one Hierophant
maybe?
will defeat 3 Mavericks pretty handily, and the Anchor is only halfway done. So if he can
But I think if you see Bio, it's like guaranteed the Anchor is going to be up, like...
Yeah, it's about to finish.
It's kind of
now,
risky here.
He just confirms the scout.
He was too fat to force his way past, I think. But now there's a Maverick chasing him. This could get an easy pick if he was aware of that. But the Hierophants move so goddamn fast. Yeah. It's also this map. There's like 30 different ramps into your base. But I think that stockade might block him from getting in there.
Yeah, I think the Hierophant specifically, but we'll find out.
No.
No.
Oh, no, man.
He slips in.
Belly dancer.
Yeah, he was confirming that there was no other way that he could tighten that up. He could
That's
actually
right. He could have like pulled the Mason off that Anchor and start repairing.
He could have.
Yeah, I think 3 are a match for them. Because two I think would have killed him up front with Stem.
Yes, that's for sure.
This is an incredibly costly loss, by the way, losing the Hierophants early on. I thought in our first match that was going to be
well,
a game. Oh, and by the way, there's 1,000 Legionnaires. And
I'm not so sure it's a loss
Anchor.
Exactly, yeah. There are 2 Cyprians here, and the front line is going to be intact for a little bit. He dives onto them immediately and does get them picked, but there's a lot of sustained damage coming out of the
Legionnaires are deceptively powerful mainly because of how cheap they are. So this anchor.
He died. But there's no follow-up immediately, right? There's 4 Legionnaires back at home. 2 more on
Legionnaires
the way.
are really, really, really powerful. Like, I'm still getting used to the new balances, which is kind of why I've been having problems with them. Is before they were fairly strong, but they were still kind of costly. So you didn't really see a lot of them super early into the game like that. Like, losing the Hierophant early on is very costly. They're super mega expensive.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, you can do what Shambler did and have 30,000 Legionnaires just show up very early on. Like, in our game with the Panoptises, he just suddenly had Legionnaires. And once again, Mystery's going to get caught out here, and the Cyprian does not make it into the anchor at all. Now his shit is going to get tickled and sassed here.
Oh, another Cyprian makes it out of the
again,
anchor. Oh no, he overstick. He put too many Mavericks in. He can't fit the Cyprian. More expensive losses. 2 Masons already dead, and many pulled off the worker line. But the deceptive thing about Terran is that when they have this extra worker queue, they are set for worker count. Like, you can see he's up by 10.
It's slowing him down, but you know, you're not doing lasting damage at this point. Terran, unlike other Protoss, are in the state where if you can't like kill the Cyprians consistently and the bunkers, you reach a point where you just can't even penetrate them anymore. Because of the penetrating shot in the ramp is. But you're seeing what Shambler's doing precisely what he did in that last game, where he's just going to go straight to a Cantor. But I feel like Mystery can probably deal with this. The real question is like, well, this map's a little more merciless for that, because that top area, you can spot for the Cantor with the Envoy and shoot up that ledge. I don't know if you can hit the Masons from there.
You can. It's not quite enough range, but yeah.
You definitely hit any defenders that are kind of trying to come up there. Shambler tried to do that against me quite a number of times, so it's not really too surprising to see him do it again. But if he loses it, then that's going to kind of kill a lot of the momentum he's got right now. Mystery is kind of like just sort of like not cared about that. I feel like even if the Cantor does a lot of damage here, it's not really going to stop him from doing what he's doing, because he's just going to transfer shit. Just fly right in there.
Absolutely fast.
2 or 3. There's another couple.
There's 4 right there already. He's tasking the Wraith onto the Envoy initially, but I'm not sure it's going to be quite enough. A Cantor's talking about deceptively tanky and durable. Yeah, a Cantor's qualified, clearly.
Yeah, the Cantor is... I was really surprised how long it took the Draconin to kill the Cantor. And when I had the Wraith in the Terran game, it was like... Sometimes it feels like you don't really have a good target with it, because it's going to take the Wraith too long to kill the Cantor, and the Envoy can usually escape, but the Envoy this time kind of dies to the Cyprian, so it's going to die, but I mean, okay, that does hurt, but it's still 29 to 27 workers.
Yes.
So,
and Shambler's got half of his workers or so idle in the top left base. He's only now tasked them. He's had a big float, you know. What's he doing during that? You know, it's very APM intensive, whereas Mist is just sort of slugging along. Yeah, keep attacking my workers.
The big thing is not to get shaken up by that.
Yeah.
Like, again, when I was Terran and I'm just constantly being attacked by this, it's just, you know, you try not to overcommit. Like, when I'm Protoss, I start spamming engrams, because I know that if there's a huge investment into something like Panoptises, and they fly into the engrams, it's just going to take so much power budget off of it, they can't get back. But when it's Terran, you have repairing, you have the quarry, you have a lot more ability to sustain rather than trying to mitigate.
Yes.
And that means that it's much more beneficial for Terran to avoid overreacting to certain things, knowing what's a measured response. What could do some damage here is all these Legionnaires are heading down bottom, but I feel like they got scouted.
Yes, there was a Maverick in the bottom left, and it spotted for them. So
they're going to get intercepted here, and this is going to hurt Shambler actually quite a bit in the long run, because that's most of his mobile forces at this moment.
Yep.
The rest of his forces are in his base. He's going to kill some of these units here from Mystery, but again, you know, at this point, Mystery is much more interested in keeping his economy alive. And he's at 43 or 34, so he is going for a mid. Probably might even just wait till tier 2 to even really think about doing anything super aggressive. You might see some Wraith heckling here and there, but Shambler's bases are pretty well cannoned up at this point, so he's probably not going to take too much damage from that.
The benefit of the double stockade, and he's constantly pumping Mavericks as well, is that he can just keep moving units around, governing bases, making sure that he's providing oversight for any sort of plays that are happening. I mean, if he gets enough of a solid establishment, he can also keep watch for any would-be additional drops, but obviously there was no remake on the Envoy. There is a witness spotting in his base, but there's no Anseal on the way, so it seems like he's not yet aware of that, although with the fast movements of the witness and the fact that the shimmer is a little bit more obvious when it's moving a little bit faster, I do think that maybe he knows that he did queue up an Anseal, so that'll cover that almost momentarily. But 3 Architects in the main and a synthetic Synod behind it. Looks like maybe Shambler's thinking about Demiurge.
Yeah, the Architects, to me, are much more of a defensive unit. They are very good with the ledges. Like this map in particular, they're very good with, as long as you have some vision in that upper area where the geysers are, that you can know that there's ground units coming over here. I got to reposition them because they're so slow. But they are really great on this map because they can help cover that expansion. They can cover the southern expansion. But what I did discover, because I almost never go bio with Terran, but when I did go in that game, it's like Mavericks are actually deceptively very useful. And when you start going into Tier 2, you do end up still floating a lot of minerals.
Yep.
Waiting for stuff to come out. So just like having the 2 stockades pumping out. And yeah, these are not Acantharies. You can't really dance with them with the Wraiths. It's just the projectiles are going to follow you and deal huge damage. Yeah, just having just the 2 pumping out Mavericks. They died all kinds of stupid, awful deaths, but they also still really help as a buffer for damage because of the buffs that semi-recently they got and having stem on demand. I don't really like what Shambler's doing, just bringing down the 3 Architects down here with just some Legionnaires, though. It's when they engage, they can get surrounded so easily. And, you know, Mystery already knows it's aware, and Shambler knows that Mystery knows it's aware. It takes him so long to get this point. It gives Mystery like 10 years to make whatever response he wants. He's actually amassing blackjacks. So I think he's kind of like conserving for Tier 2, but if Shambler dumps all this Architects into nothing here, it's going to be costly.
He's planning a Huracan drop. That's what's in the Trojans, and he uses the Anseal to cover it.
Drop right in.
Yeah, that's going to isolate one of them completely. Surrounded on all sides by Ahmed. Can you believe it?
Absolutely, Ahmed.
And there's only a couple of Legionnaires here, and they will soon fall as well.
If you have to deal with Architects using infantry, that's the way to do it. It's the safest way to get him in. If you could drop it right on top of it like that, then you're not going to get completely fucked by the split. Plus, Ahmed has 80 health. I never realized.
Yeah, he's
Ahmed
a tanky
has
guy.
So much health.
When we end up having a custom model for Huracans, they'll be a little bit more obvious that they're actually more.
However, I want to point out, Mystery is sitting on 2,300, 2,400 minerals.
Yeah.
It's not the strongest. Like, he should be in a way stronger position than right now. I mean, he's got an Atlas. So presumably some of that money is going to be spent, but he's still spamming blackjacks, and he just can't dump his money fast enough. So Shambler is kind of like getting the opportunity to recover from this.
Yeah. Wraiths are still guarding a whole host of bases, and there's plenty of eyes on a bunch of the other positions using Mavericks. So this Wraith will actually start heckling some of the Legionnaires, and you can see that here in the...
Looks like he might be looking for a drop. Definitely don't want to drop on the main of the engram there, but that expansion might be fair game. There's an Empress. Okay. I don't know about the Empress. I haven't hardly used it that much, but when I did use it way back, it felt like something you want to use as a support unit rather than a real attacking unit because it's so slow.
Yes.
I feel like that Mavericks can just run up and kill it.
Well, the main thing that the Empress excels at is just slowly reinforcing the front line by sealing away all of the enemy units, right, that it ends up damaging, because it has that zombification passive. And one of the revisions with the Cornerstone update marked the point where the zombies, if you will, are actually going to persist as long as an Empress or a Demiurge or even a Mind Tyrant are in the area to sort of keep them alive, basically. So kind of similar to the Apostle Reclamation idea. Meanwhile, we do have Mystery. Yeah.
Mystery should be in a spot where he could very easily deal with this, but since he has so much unspent money, if Shambler is able to like actuate a lot of this power before that money gets spent, he could do quite a lot of damage. Like, he might be able to deny this expansion here. But there are a bunch of starports on the way.
Well, he's going to take control of the Sentinel there,
Yeah.
and that will give him some nice vision on the other ones. Well, there's more Hurricanes and Trojans, but are they going to be used for
There's a lot of blackjacks. They're all going over towards that expansion that got scouted by the Wraith. So,
okay.
you know, sometimes if you don't want to deal with that, you just go attack somewhere else.
Yeah, there are some more Legionnaires and Atriuses up in the main, but it's going to be a while.
I think
before
Shambler
the
can hold
static
that off. He
defense-
might take damage, but
Yeah.
probably not too much.
Demiurge and the Empress continuing to do
Meanwhile-
their best. There was an attempt at isolating the Demiurge to death, but
Yeah.
it's still
They're pretty
just barely
fat.
alive.
5 armor.
Yeah. A tier 4 unit, but the
This
architect
is
on
precisely
other
the place
side-
you don't want to be in, is where the Empress is getting free shots on everything all over the place for a long time.
Yeah. Well, here comes the Huracan drop once again.
Yeah,
warding off.
he's just annihilated.
Yeah.
But now you still got an Empress on who's shooting everything.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh god, it's Ahmed on Ahmed violence.
And even a hash.
Now they're
to boot.
destroying his own treasury. There's the hash.
I got 0, which is what does he got? Well, that's helpful. What did you get, Mess? Do you know?
I actually had a hard time reading it because it was red against orange.
I wonder if Meat didn't update to get the hot fixes in. That could actually be the case here.
Maybe ask him.
He says he updated, and obviously he would. Yeah, he wouldn't have been able to join the game in the first place if he didn't have the latest version. I think so.
I wonder if it was the Empress.
Yeah, it could have
And that-
been something like the Empress, that like with the treasury or something, some sort of weird.
The Ahmed
behavior.
on Ahmed violence and the treasury getting destroyed.
I'm
There was
guessing it's
some grim
related to
shit there.
like unit ownership or something. We can maybe test that a little bit
Ahmed-topia
more.
was in flames.
Well, what we could do is we could just go into sudden death and just send everything you got right now as a showdown, but that's pretty stupid. So I say it's probably safer to. I guess we can do this for now. Yeah. And if it's messed up, we replay. But it could also just end in those 5 minutes, so who knows?
Yeah. And in my experiences, these things happen in different ways. Like, before it used to be you never saw units get rebuilt.
Yeah.
Invalid player flag, active nation ID 2.
2 would be me. So but I got 0, which is one of the players, so I don't actually know what that means.
So the whole thing basically fell up its asshole. Meanwhile, the Empress is still Ahmed on Ahmed violence.
A whole bunch of Ahmeds are heading to the top left, perhaps.
The lone Empress is turning out to actually do a lot of damage.
Yeah, the stuff cleaned up in the third base there.
There's this Ahmed. Oh,
Oh. It's you. Oh, never mind. It's just normal. That's just normal Canada.
yeah, that was unusual.
I thought for sure it was a crash.
I thought it was about to crash or drop me or something. Shit is definitely desynced because the Empress is flying across the map on my screen, and on your screen it's attacking. It just died to the bunker on your screen.
Yeah.
But on mine, it's heading over to his third to group up with a second one.
It's third? Oh, you're talking about over here?
Yeah, he has 2 of them now, technically. Yeah, I think you're desynced.
I might be the one who got dropped. Who knows? Okay. All right, Mesk, you got to share me your screen, and
All
I'll
right.
cast from your POV.
I gotta figure out how to share you. All right, one moment here. Here. Now you can see it.
I sure can.
So there's a witness over here just peeping.
Hold
Peeping
on,
at the
yeah,
flaming
you keep
anchor.
talking. I'm gonna switch over our views for that.
The Empresses and the Atreus is this very small little group with two of them. Two of each is heading down here. They've discovered an Anseal and a Trojan. The Trojan does have Achmed in it, but I think Meat has seen enough Achmed on Achmed violence, Achmed lives matter, and they fly away to safety. There is a lot of Sundogs. There's like 6, 7, 8 Sundogs or something that came out of those starports they met earlier. So, oh god, there's even more of them. If they find the Empresses, they'll just instantly blow them up. But Shambler, incidentally, is floating back to his base.
Just type all good for them so they know. All good. All good. It's definitely not Tismic.
Yeah,
Although
definitely
I
not
don't seem to be
Tismic.
able to hear any audio from you. Oh, there it is.
Well, he stole a blackjack. A very, very valuable addition to his out and it died.
Well, if you keep it out of range of the Empress, it doesn't persist. So.
Something was sniped by the Sundogs, but now they revealed themselves. No, Shambler is aware of their existence, and
But he doesn't have any witnesses.
Oh,
one of them got.
now he has a sun. He had a Sundog.
Hey, this is actually pretty
dead.
dangerous because the Empress just got absolutely dove upon, and the ground army was split. So not really much Shambler can do at that point. I mean, just loses everything.
Yeah, when you see that many Sundogs, you just don't want your slow, squishy units being. That's such a strange ability. You don't want your squishier units being vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just not really respecting them at that point. I guess he figured, I have Atreises, so he's not going to dive me. But they just went out of range of the Atreises at that point. The more important thing, though, is the fact that this base here is. I don't think Shambler even knows it exists. And he kind of like flew right by it when he had, like, if the Empresses had come down here, it would have made a mess of it. But maybe, I don't know, maybe he knows about it now, or maybe he's just coming around. See this?
I think he's just scouting the corners. Yeah,
he really hates that Maverick, is what he hates.
Yeah, he's killed that exact same Maverick in that pace.
Meanwhile, these guys are heading over here. Nope, now they're coming down there. They got scouted.
Yeah, they're responding to some activity. Do we know the tech
Maverick
for me?
screeched into his radio before he died.
Yeah. Well, the Empresses are definitely going to reveal this base.
They are. Look, it's a repeat.
Yeah, they're all clumped up for the Sundog splash. Just 2 salvos and away they go. So
a little bit of spin at the end there. Just absolutely massacred. I didn't completely forgot that they did splash. Even if they didn't do splash, that still would have been a nearly instantaneous wipe. Now the witness can spy on them.
Yeah, at the very least. It's weird that Shambler wasn't somehow aware of that.
So Shambler does know of its existence with a witness, but he chose to ignore it and go all the way around.
It looks like he wants to target this back base, but he wasn't expecting the sheer number of
many blackjacks.
Nor was he expecting the one Maverick Scout to continue to be there. And that's good discipline from Meat, right? This is one of the reasons why he's a strong player. He doesn't usually get kerfluffled by any reason. But there's a witness in that bottom right base as well, or at least I presume so, based on that. So that's going to cover this position. He's fully aware of what he's got to deal with. Remember that Demiurges, when they take command of an anchor, they also force all of the units inside a warship, so that's another thing to keep in mind for an interaction. And there is a nuke potential here, it looks like, because there's a Covenant.
He's looking for those ground units. I think he thinks they went back, but now a Mason found them. Everything immediately pulls back.
Got him on a tight leash, those Sundogs, and he's nearly ready to go ahead. He's got another Huracan drop, but so many of them got blown up. Still, some of them are getting
caught on, but unfortunately, there's so many blackjacks and everything else.
Yeah,
just absolutely smothered in the sea of muscle and Achmed. Well, a lone Achmed survives that massacre, just barely.
Beautiful.
Base here's got some metal workers kind of chilling out. There is an anvil being built in this base. And don't know if he's building this.
That's for
Seraph
the
tech?
Sundogs and the Salamanders.
Okay, yeah.
So that's how he's getting.
I made that mistake in the game I played against him where I thought I was getting Sundogs and shit. And I was building Azazels, and it turned out they were actually good. I detonated them to make Salamanders because I thought Salamanders would be better. I didn't think Wyverns would be nearly as effective as they were, but it turns out Azazels and Wyverns were actually really, really good.
Yeah, not too shabby.
And then it turns out, like, I was gonna make a Seraph, and I was like, I don't have a free thing for a nuke silo. Meanwhile, Mystery is taking this, and I don't think that's no one at the moment. There's a lot of Atriuses over here, a lot of Blackjacks once again. I don't think they're going to accomplish too much over here, but maybe if the Sun Dogs come in and manage to snipe the engrams while they're shooting at Blackjacks, kind of a risky gamble. A couple of wrong shots could really kill your investment.
He's got an idol on.
There is an idol on him there, yeah. And he did get scouted, but did not get killed. Oh no.
Well, it's just going to get converted, and then it'll reset
okay.
afterwards, yeah. So.
That's like a secret map hack. If he actually checked its contents,
right,
he would know that something awful was about to happen. But now maybe it's lost here, and Mystery forgets about its existence, at least for a little while. Because I think that might have killed its rally. Did that kill
it resets. It's
okay,
no,
he found it. Okay,
so yeah,
it escapes, possibly being picked up there, and this has been discovered.
Another attempt.
This has also been. Oh no, it's happening
again. Does he have what it takes to defeat himself? Well, it's not even going to be required for those other Sentinels.
Sun Dogs are heading up. This is a little more risky of a dive if he goes for it. Nope.
Well, he manages to pick off the Stragglers, which is an important one because just a couple of
taking quite a bit of damage, though.
Yeah, the splash is not going to be good for him. He's got to be
a little careful about that.
We did see his Vestry up, so I'm sure he's got Shamans back at home to heal, and he's just going to sack the space on the top right in the meantime. and kill off the occasional traitor on the way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he took a treasury. Now Shambler can go.
Okay. If he keeps the Demiurge there,
he can go for diadems.
Forever. Yeah.
Just turtle up, go for diadems. He knows the drill.
Yeah, that's something.
Do it. Build the quarry.
That's something that Mystery Meat did not anticipate whatsoever. And while there is no witness over here, so he's got to surmise, okay, well, how do I plan my attack here? Maybe I'll just start sowing some chaos. But there's engrams out the wazoo.
Do not touch this.
No.
This is a bad touch.
Yeah, that's not going to be very effective.
This is also a bad touch.
Well, just one of them is doable.
Oh, God.
But there's another one in the back line there, so he's got to be somewhat careful. Hopefully he can get it to target a different one.
He's going to take so much damage, though.
Yeah, there was another one.
They definitely pay for themselves.
Yeah. Well, he can at least start up the gas harvesting at the very least.
Oh.
Empresses.
Not able to deal too much damage to that Nexus. Barely missing the Scribe. There's so many Blackjacks.
Some Gorgons were made. He's got enough money for tier 3, but I don't see a diadem anywhere. Or a
he destroyed the treasury, it looks like.
He might have moved the... Oh, yeah, I'm actually not sure what happened there. Maybe he tried to lift it off and then it receded or something.
So, Mystery is kind of like in a spot where I feel like he's not entirely sure how to proceed at this point. I don't really feel like it's desynced at the moment.
Nope, seems fine. It was just me.
Like, they're all responding to each other. I'm getting a little bit of Canada moment, but...
You're our only hope for the cast, Mesk. You have to
say.
Through thick and thin, Canada and America.
This is being taken, this is in a little island kind of, but you can come through here, but Shambler's not really in a position to threaten it. I feel like if he got too focused on diving something, the Sun Dogs will just pick him off, so I think he's aware of that. So he's kind of in a little bit more awkward of a situation than he was against me, where this is same kind of like error. Oh.
Does Shambler notice it?
Does Shambler notice? He's looking
at
around
all his bases.
over.
He's really paranoid.
He
now
noticed
he figured it out. He's going to pull back just in time. It's good zoning anyway and conditioning. Hey, maybe I should look at my army instead of my base next time. So,
yeah.
Depending on how that one works out. But I think he spotted the attempt in the middle, judging by his camera position. So you do have to watch out for that because maybe there will be a move out on that end. And Shambler has a lot of high-tech units, but I don't think he has enough, funnily enough, not enough meat to really break through any individual position.
Yeah, I know. Atriuses are not very good at navigating this kind of a map.
Maybe if he went for an Argosy for Didax and he could recall some of it and bypass a lot of that, but, at least Meat is kind enough to remind Shambler that he's got some idle workers.
Yeah, hey, Shambler, you got stuff over here. Oh, thanks, dude. Takes a little bit of carbon tax for his efforts. This is actually, I think, a case where Empyreans would be really good because the projectiles will follow them.
Oh, there it is.
And deal some damage. There's the diadem. This is... I remember I mentioned before... Fucking secret agent Butts has been annihilated. If you want to tilt Shambler, this is how you're going to do it. And we're on the road for that, I think.
Oh, look at all the blackjacks and some Ahmeds for good measure. Yeah, the Clarion is going to start to defend that, but the shields pop off. And the
Ahmed
Clarion
charges
starts
forward.
being useful.
Ahmed dies.
Ahmed
Mason
is,
charges forward.
Hey, the Mason's staying alive a lot longer.
Mason's laying in some thick damage, and
the Clarion gets sniped. The Demiurges are likely going to be next, but first he wants to deal with the splash. Now he can really lay into these units there, and those are the high-tech ones gone. A lot of the pressure on the right side of the map just got relieved, and maybe do some more work on the top
both
right.
players have an ungodly amount of money.
Yeah, that's for sure.
An absolutely ungodly amount of money. Oh, it begins.
Hey, they're targeting scribes. That's a better target than they could be going after.
Yeah. Well,
that's what the Sundogs are.
I don't know
for,
if Shambler
too.
even hears that when they just pass by like that, but
Sleepy.
All right. Okay, not a bad idea. I think sticking a Crucible and then you got like 3 or 4 of those next to each other is a good idea too, but I think he might try the Mass Empyrean thing.
Well, he certainly got the money for it. There are some diadem shots.
And it begins.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Just the flyovers with the Sundogs going to start really putting a timer on how long Shambler can allow this kind of activity. He can use the Witness, which does make sense, because then the engrams can start to pick off the Sundogs.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's also pulling
Here
the trigger.
comes the Vassals.
The Spirit of Three Crow lives on, despite not being able to defeat Mist. Well, how you like my Vassals, buddy? Well, the Sundogs are here to try to respond to that.
Vassals are the ideal counter against Sundogs. Change my mind. Oh, he should have gotten some early shots in there. He's not going to run away from them.
No.
You may as well stack up and shoot him.
Well, the Atreus is right to try to defend that, but again,
needed to stand and fight. He might have grabbed the diadem. A little bit of tactical lag. Unfortunately, a cactus stands in his way.
Thwarted. Oh, fuck that
Warden.
In particular. Yeah. A
little bit of. He's got the 3 fleet beacons. There are more Sundogs. Both players not entirely sure how to spend their money. He's adding additional fulcrums. Crabs march all the way across the map towards the diadems.
All right. Well, hey, it's as long as they're here, they might as well lay into these Sundogs and dodge some shots.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they are being a little bit awkward there. They could have gotten more shots there.
Not quite enough damage from them. Shambler is being placed into. It's beginning.
No.
The tilting
not
is beginning.
Game 1. Not only 30 minutes into the series. Well, there's 2 or 3. There, yeah, there's.
Once the massive hippogriffs appear and annihilate whatever air armies he's building.
Well, he did test the. He was testing a little bit, doing some practice strats, and he did try to use the analogs against me. But woe is him. They didn't really work that well after all. At least what I had, and I had much less than what Meat has. So, that'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Meat's definitely in a commanding position, but he does actually have to get into those defenses. And if he doesn't do it by crawling with diadems, no.
Well, he does. He dodges just barely, and the Atriuses are just fine as well. Oh, he has a single blackjack for his trouble.
Mate's not careful. I
think he was just careful enough. Didn't end up.
I think at least one of them got hit by that.
Yeah.
Just nudged him on the nut sack. This is diadems everywhere.
My man.
I don't know. I feel like Meat might have been watching that, taking notes. Yeah, there it is. The hippogriffs. You're gonna need a few more vassals to deal with this. Like maybe like another couple hundred. It is possible. He's
awaiting the selection extender for that one to work. He's actually got his money down low, which is a worrying sign when you consider the map state. But he's capped every geyser, but at this stage he has one less base and he doesn't have the middle for the extra gas income. So it's writing on the wall here. I think Meat's going to be going up 1-0.
It's really just a matter of like what is Meat going to do to crack this. I mean, the mass blackjack surely makes Beaver smile, but mass blackjack against mass engram just doesn't seem like it's terribly effective, and it does open up, like, this is why I was so careful with the Zerg game, is like you don't really want to give somebody a chance to just suddenly break out because you dumped your entire army into defenses and immediately got deflected.
Even the Atriuses are starting to do pretty well against the blackjacks. They're mostly there as bodyguards for the diadems so that vassals don't overwhelm the position alone.
Well, it's only 2 armor pen, and they do weaken as they get hit, so... There is, however, 1,000 sentinels that are going to thwart this.
Here come the Sundogs.
It's Daddy, and they're dead.
No.
Here comes the Amaranths.
Now, if the
there
Amaranths
goes
had
the
gone
Amaranths.
win the Atriuses, maybe that could have been a little bit better. But at this stage,
Yeah,
Shambler...
well, I might have killed some of the Sentinels, but I think the Sundogs still would have just obliterated
Yes.
everything. It's so
Yeah, most
many
likely.
fucking blackjacks. Oh, it's beginning. The Tisms.
Well, he's going to try to use the diadems against his opponent, but unfortunately he doesn't
They die
connect.
so fast to the Sundogs.
He didn't connect any of the Amaranths on anything,
Oh,
so...
and if he was paying attention, he would have seen the Hippogriffs.
Well, he's going to see him in a second because they're about to lay siege to his worker line in the... What is that? His fourth base there. So the Empyreans have been scrambled. There's still more vassals, presumably on the way somewhere else. The Clarions tasked onto the
He's
Empyreans.
going to really wish he had some detection with those Empyreans, I think.
Yeah, just to handle the Sundogs. I mean, another strat you can do, by the way, is just use cloaked units or,
look,
indeed, lifted
it's a
structures.
stockade.
Yeah, lifted structures will also block the shots. So the Sundogs have to scramble, and so do the Hippogriffs.
If he had detection, Shambler would annihilate this air army right here.
I think it's still going to happen anyway. The splash from the Empyrean missiles is doing quite a bit of work.
Their damage is split.
Indeed, and the Hippogriffs have been allowed to join the battle, and the Clarions just ended up falling as well. He still has
All right,
enough
here
to
we
maybe
go.
make this work out. So now the Hippogriffs have to fall away. The fly and follow on those Hippogriffs, it's not going to work out too well for him whatsoever. So there they go.
Oh no!
But now-
beware the Empyreans Arc Nemesis, the blackjack.
Of course. Well, it is working, actually.
This is awful. There's even a Mason there for good effect.
Yeah, he can
Trying to
repair the
repair-
blackjacks. Oh, I don't know. Oh,
Here we go. The Tism.
Oh.
No Tism.
Absolutely slapped. Well, hope you like that engram.
Canada. And a blackjack dice. Blackjack's charged forward towards this Nexus that's been getting tenderized by the diadems. More Hippogriffs appear. They all are going to die here. Oh, nope. Just one escapes. Keeping their numbers low. Oh, no.
Oh, a lot of splash damage just hit those Empyreans.
If that second shot had hit, many of the Empyreans were going to be killed. Oh.
Goodness.
The Tism can most certainly increase. A stockade is designed to engrams over there.
Because why not?
If
Spotting,
he starts
of
mind
course.
controlling the diadems,
Yeah, zombifying
the
them.
Tism could become inverse, but they have to not die to Watchdogs.
Yeah, there's
There
only
we
one
go.
Empress left. It is going to stack up the stacks onto the diadem. Once that loses all of its HP, it will be swapped on over. But I think the other diadem shot's going to hit at precisely the right time to level it immediately after the ownership changes hands there.
Oh!
He actually walked into that one with those Empyreans.
Didn't hit.
Seems like he's okay, though. Just needs to deal with Ahmed's menace. And there's even more units scattered around the whole map. He's really trying. You could target Ahmed. Ahmed can be your beacon. Yeah, I did just see a Hippogriff splash. Yeah, so he's starting to deal with that as well.
Yeah, the fact he has killed many of the initial Hippogriffs has actually given Shambler a fighting chance in this, because it was if they get to nuclear status that it becomes unmanageable. There is still lots of them appearing, and he's getting kind of whittled down, but presumably he's making a whole bunch more in the meanwhile. Yeah, he's got some more, but
Yeah.
he didn't lose immediately to that central bit. He
Oh
is
no, the
potentially
Sundogs are
gonna
kind of
lose immediately to
overcommitting
this.
there. Yeah. They did manage to snipe the Empress as well as yet another Empyrean, but I think they ended up losing a little bit more. And at this stage, you don't have to worry too much about cost efficiency in theory, but that top right base is still not mining, so he's only now... Oh, it's not even a base. It's actually an attempted drop.
It's an Ahmed base. Ahmed claims this territory for the nation of Ahmed. Additional rotaries. Additional Ahmeds. He's got detection with him this time. The beach ball goes over there somewhere.
He's
Ahmed
trying to kill that
chases a scribe across the map.
Hey, there's still defenses over here, and he's still harvesting the gas.
Oh
It's
no,
probably
not Ahmed. No, oh, it's a tragedy. Oh no.
Wow.
Ahmed saved them from themselves.
Yeah, they
what a noble man.
exhibited some self-control there. Meanwhile, some of the
Yeah, but-
Empyreans stayed behind, or at least one
Yeah,
of them
they got
did.
kind of separated there and picked off.
It looks like just one of them. The main flock is still moving to defend the third.
It's like whack-a-mole right now. He's just running around, just
Aw.
trying to do something about all the random blackjacks and Ahmed's running around. Where
Spotting
I think
for the
Mystery kind
diadem.
of like
Oh,
realized,
look
wait
at
a
this.
second, I don't want my Hippogriffs to die one by one. So he's kind of like holding them back and just letting Shambler run around the map like an angry hamster. Oh,
Oh, there goes all of the Sun Dogs. But now the Hippogriffs
there's
are
a lot
forcing
of
the
hippos,
engagement. Yeah, and I think they do.
You don't want to be sacked for this, meat.
No.
Oh, no, meat.
There's so many of them
meat.
falling. There was no front line here to try to intercept the projectiles. He could have even lifted the diadem and had those intercept the projectiles. But instead, he's actually going to lose most of his Hippogriffs here.
Wow, that's devastating for meat, actually. Losing that's a huge investment. I mean, he's filthy rich, but it takes so long to get that many.
He's only got 3 now, as far as we know, and that diadem is not long for this world either.
Oh, no.
Probably the last little vestige of his map control.
No, don't die to blackjacks.
I think he's going to die to blackjacks, boys. Sun Dogs are coming in,
Additional
trying to
Sun
snipe
Dogs.
out, but again, they're stacked up so easily because they move so fast. And the blackjacks are going to be taken care of as well. The Hippogriff's starting to round off yet again. That diadem's still technically alive, but it is burning. It's a little deceptive because the overlay doesn't
Shambler's
work.
getting kind of picked up in here.
Yeah,
Vassals have discovered the Sun Dogs.
Oh, he catches them on as well with the Empyreans. Needs to finish off that diadem, ideally, before he leaves.
Oh, speed him up! Speed him up!
Oh, there you go. They enter into speed mode and have started to do some
splits
work.
them apart, so...
Yeah, pretty reasonable there.
Comes out on top.
How's the HP on that diadem right there? Any good?
He's on fire.
He's still okay. He'll probably be
There's
repaired.
a watchdog being tickled by a vassal. There's a stockade being tickled by a vassal. The nation of Ahmed stands strong.
Only a couple
There's additional
of
Empyreans here, but there's no crucibles surrounding these. That said, Shambler's money is not in a good spot. He's drained his coffers, that's for sure. He finally discovers Secret Nuke Nation. If he's not careful, he might lose everything by blowing out that anvil.
Oh, the Hippogriffs are surely going to be moving over relatively slowly.
There's Valks.
Yeah, well, the Valkyries...
The fun police have arrived.
The Valkyries can
Shambler
still be
split
focused
up,
down,
just
but...
incidentally or accidentally. It might save him some pain, but...
Yeah.
No, he just doesn't have enough damage.
Yeah, he wants to maybe try to withdraw some of these, but the problem is that
he's going to get like one. Got some Valks.
Maybe still worth it to save the one, but it does feel like maybe he could have responded to that a little bit faster. And yeah, at that stage, I mean, really, you start to need to have a little bit more.
He needs more decisive pushing power.
Yeah, he needs something additional to what he's got.
Like this is where having like Obtectons, Archons, something to come down here and split push while he was dealing with the middle would have been nice, but I'm not sure his economy even really sustains that at this point.
Meat just spent all of his money. He's only got the gas. All of his minerals are gone, so he must have queued up a bunch of stuff.
Valks, one Phobos.
Okay. He's got one out already.
His army is like in large part like blackjacks still.
I think that's probably what's all in all the queues. If you click on those fulcrums, it's probably still like loads of them.
Well, he's only queuing one at a time, so both players are starting to feel that sting of the depletion for sure. Like this is not mined out.
Yeah, only the corner bases are left intact as far as... Well, there's this base. Yeah, that's not too bad.
Oh.
Sundog spotting, just looking around what's going on, but that diadem did end up burning down, I think, unless it got lifted off somewhere. And another attack is rejoined over here in the same spot. I'm not sure that the Hippogriffs were expecting this, so Meat is going to have to slowly move his army over.
He's clicking on that anvil. He knows.
Yeah. Well, here come all the Valks. They are ahead of everything else, so the Hippogriffs are not part of the fight right now, and a lot of their shots are being absorbed.
Saved quite a bit of...
Yeah, he actually loses that engagement just based on that alone. There's enough potential damage out of these Empyreans, but the Phoboses will absorb the damage, and with 6 armor, I mean, come on, that's going to be really, really hard for him to focus down. He is going to try to...
He's taking damage from that Watchdog, too. That's going to add up. Yeah.
Just barely manages to catch one of the hippos, but not worth the trade.
The cost was heavy. It was a train wreck.
Now, this is the part where he starts to train more demiurges, because he knows, okay, well, the Empyreans are doing all right versus the Hippogriffs, but the demiurges, that's where you're going to start to find some mileage against the Phoboses. And as long as Meat is still producing the Valkyries, that's more stuff not being used to produce other things that can actually handle something like the Demiurge. At the same time, Ahmed and Blackjacks are proving somewhat useful, particularly against stuff like the Demiurge, where it struggles to deal with the unclean masses, so to speak. It's much better about finding champions of the other races and taking them. So, no more diadems.
At the very least, Shambler has stopped getting tizened by diadems.
Yeah, I was just
I'm not sure there is even a diadem on the map anymore. It doesn't look like.
Maybe a defensive one, but I don't know. Maybe not even then.
No. Honestly, I mean, when you really think about this stage in the game, the inner area of Meat is really, really vulnerable. Like, some kind of fast-moving, heavy-hitting, like Archons could deal quite a bit of damage to him. Just killing all the workers gathered up on the depleted nose. He is going to that top right. He is going to the Ahmed Nation.
I think he's going to be able to, yeah, he's going to be able to put it to bed pretty quickly here. The Empyreans don't outrange the Watchdogs, but they will obviously put them to bed. A lot of Blackjacks ended up dying to Vassals, funnily enough, so that's like a tickle fight and a half. And yeah, there's nothing really here to respond to this threat. The Clarion finally makes it to join the battle. And yeah, look at this.
This fleet's all the way across the map.
Yeah. Just by itself anyway isn't going to be able to do much. So sniping out the treasury maybe would have lasted a little bit longer with the ministry, but I think even then it would have been kaput. And all the workers are also going to go. That's not really that much of an investment, though. I mean, like, it's a lot of workers, but look at the
numbers.
Count. Yeah.
They're going down.
Probably about 30 workers there. Now the fleet is sieging the base right below this, so they are going to try to take the opportunity to maybe do some economic damage of their own. Some engrams do get a couple of shots off here. Where is the Demiurge? That's what we need to see. I think there's some movement on the left, but it looks like it's mostly just scribes.
Yeah, he's coming with his army of choice, the Simulacrums. Ideal for fighting Hippogriffs and Phoboses.
Yeah,
but
the problem is
the Valkyries are getting so much free damage.
Yeah. And the Phoboses are still working as phalanxes versus the incoming shots. But meanwhile, the Demiurges have started to delay claim over to the Phoboses and turn the fleet over. They're very heavily bruised, and it actually doesn't even look like the Valkyries are too busy or too concerned with that. As long as the Demiurges can be zoned by the Hippogriffs, these Phoboses are pretty much as good as dead for either player, so bit of a neutral shot there. The Hippogriffs are taking some damage. 4 Demiurges are now out on the field, so they can very quickly control stuff or destroy stuff, in fact. But again, the masses of the Blackjacks driving them backwards. They can't really have an answer to so many small single targets.
Imagine having your own Phoboses and Hippogriffs destroyed by your own Blackjacks. It's a disgusting way to go, but they're getting separated and picked apart here. The lone Clarion stands tall as the Simulacrum single file walk through the firing squad.
That's just the rally, man, you know. The Valkyries could pick off that Clarion on their way out, but it looks like they don't have the wherewithal to do so just yet.
Now, it doesn't really look like Meat is doing too much. He has so much money. I think he was just bewildered by that sight. Trying to figure out maybe which should I do at this point.
He's got plenty of money.
Mass Blackjack's really the answer, and once again, we're seeing Sentinels get snatched on this ledge.
Yeah, if the diadems had been rebuilt at any stage, these Demiurges would have far less efficacy. And Artisan's also over here to start maybe building some engrams.
Is this?
Oh, but it gets swatted by the 3 Hippogriffs down there. Yeah, the Blackjacks are here to try to zone them back yet again, and now the Hippogriffs can take a moving shot or two.
That was disgusting. Oh.
Just some stragglers.
Destroy it. The Ahmed Nation stands tall amidst rubble and ruin. So many Simulacrums. I mean, he's building nothing but Blackjacks. Why not build nothing but Simulacrums? I don't think Simulacrums do terribly well against Blackjacks as it is, but, well, that's what his meme is. I almost feel like mass Legionnaires would not be bad at this point.
You need something.
Maybe the Sentinels might kill them,
sure.
But
yeah.
Any of these other bases, like this one here, maybe from the bottom, or if you could get them down here, like 30 of them, they might do some damage. He's just going to retake this. Doesn't even bother to send anything over to defend it. I'm sure that the Witness spotted stuff going up there, but
you have to actually pay attention to the map. Now, one of the Demiurges already felled all the Sentinels, so he's got to take this time a little bit slowly. There's more Demiurges here, and yeah, I think another one's about to pop, actually. Yep, there it goes. One died. A lot of these are really bruised. It's not going to be super clean or effective here.
Sentinels do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
It's not good to tank them with Demiurges.
Another thing to note is where is the fleet for Meat? He's actually going to completely ignore this and move up back towards the top middle.
So many workers died.
Yet again.
Shambler is now ahead in workers.
Hey,
he now
has
the treasury.
Oh, no. He's just going to force it down. Okay. Not interested.
I don't know why you didn't take it. You could have built your own diadems, become the cancer. Oh, no.
Yeah, this is
the Simulacrums have met one of their only adversaries.
Yeah.
The Hippogriff.
Valkyries are
and the
sorted
1,000
over
Valkyries.
Here. Yeah, some Centaurs.
Oh, and the
as
Centaurs.
Well.
You finally saw some built Centaurs.
Now, the Centaurs
they're
are
fast
effective.
now, aren't they?
Yes, they're very fast as basically interception ships. You can think of them as corvettes or destroyers in that context. But the main context for them is that they want to get in close and personal, use their missiles to deal with close threats. Sort of like
one of them got a shot off.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh.
Focusing down the anvil. Well, it's not really going to disrupt any mining operations. Most of them are already dead. Now, the centaurs don't survive a lot of shots from something like concentrated demiurge power, so that is something to note. But at the same time, it's a little
so
bit
many
different.
Masons just
they're
funneling
rallied over.
up there like an inchworm.
Yeah. Okay, the Valkyries are here to start defending this. The Hippogriffs can get a lot of really meaty shots off, especially onto the demiurges in particular, as they start to set up.
This is a good place for meat to be to focus in this choke point. The centaur charging forward might get tickled.
It doesn't look like they ended up. Things are okay.
Oh
overall.
my god, the blackjacks.
The Valkyries are real spooky to think about here.
Oh, but so are they. You bunch all up like, oh my god, it's a claymore.
Wow, we're seeing a lot of unconventional units here, but I think the Claymore is just going to get...
Oh, and...
yeah, Demiurges are hungry, but hey, there's only 2 of them left. Actually, only 1 of them left make that. The Hippogriff's trying to make sure that they stay split, and I think that Demiurge is still technically alive. That can channel a lot of the controls over, but now it looks like it's finally fallen, and so too have all of the Empyreans. Where are the reinforcements for Shambler? His rally point is around that gas in the middle of his base, but I'm not so sure he's got anything. Really, nothing's cooking.
He's pretty dry on resources at this point, especially after losing this base. That was his only non-annihilated line of income. He's got a few units here and some vassals, very important.
Nate is down on
He's
no
got an
minerals
anti-Kazan in this.
Here we go.
Oh, there it goes.
Hey, he can take control of that witness. There you
yeah,
go.
Look at that.
He
Now he's got
himself a
detection.
witness. Shitey.
Shiny, not my witness.
Oh my goodness.
Doesn't revive whatever this is.
The problem is the corpses are only viable for revive for a short amount of time. We just don't have a really good read for that just yet.
The mind-controlled witness charges forward.
Hey,
some of these forces are kind of damaged here, so... Oh, yeah, it's gone. The anti-Kazan is blowing up. Oh,
it even froze its explosion in time. It's time travel, boys.
The lone demiurge.
Now, he's got to be really careful about that because that's
There's 2 of them now.
Unit.
Yeah. Oh no! Oh, if it got 1 more shot off,
it was
stunned. 2 for 1. Oh.
Yeah, they get stunned after they immediately turn over. It's just a little silly. We have to revise it at some point so that the demiurge actually has to be in the area to even have the timer tick down. We have at least 3 after this. Well, that's not true.
Listen, Shambler, if you win all of them, you only have to play 8 games.
Yeah, that's true. And if Meat wins all of them, he only has to play 3 games.
Yep.
Hey, I'm not. It's already past midnight, so hurry it up, boys. Now, there are some Empyreans going over, but look at the fleet. Look at the horde.
Yeah, it's definitely like... Mystery's lost a lot, too, but he just had a lot more stashed up.
Yeah.
I feel like that all it's going to take... I mean, it's going to be a little hard for him to go into this base, but...
He almost got one. Yeah, there's just
they're really squishy. Like, they only have 250 health. Trades like that are not generally very favorable. He does have some shamans here to help a little bit. Their attack rally is over there somewhere.
Well, they probably received an attack move order when they were group selected with someone else, yeah. Well, he's not going to stay too long. I think he might have spotted some movement or has a tingle telling him, hey, where might he go? And I love to see them fighting over strip mined bases. Actually, that base that he just shut down yet again in the upper middle there is the only one that has resources that aren't completely depleted, at least the mineral side. Plenty of gas, so demiurges and the like are a little bit more commonplace now, but mineral sinks, maybe not so much. The Empyrean fleet is going to go ahead and discover a treasury in production, and they should be able to...
I think Mystery Meat kind of expected him just quit after losing his fleet, but then all the demiurges popped out, and this will still go on.
Another Anticathon has made its way to the front line, rotating forever, spinning.
Always
forever.
Spinning.
More Empyreans are trying to join the fray.
There's a single Solarian.
Okay, that could happen. I mean, the problem is that the stewards will obviously be penetrated by all of the shots from the Hippogriff, so...
Kind of like the vassals.
Yeah, pretty similar, actually. If you could build stewards as a standalone unit, they would basically be like a tier 4 vassal, but You know, you can't do that. Well, the shots are going to be ringing out here to try to lay siege to these wardens. Demiurges are making their presence known, and a whole bunch of blackjacks are guarding that fort.
The players are becoming more and more cautious because they realize how fucked they are at this point with the map being so mined out.
Yeah.
They don't really want to commit anymore.
Well, you know, if you get enough bases set up, it doesn't matter that they're depleted. What matters is that you got them. More vassals being rallied instantly.
That was not necessary. You didn't have to do that. He sees they're over there, so he comes down here. Oh, and the Clarion dies miserably. No, not the shamans. The dicks are spinning. You gotta undeploy them. No. Oh, it's a disaster.
Absolute disaster indeed. Well, I think Shambler will have to GG out once he loses this round of units. The Demiurges are in no position to help him, and his fleet is going to get absolutely slapped. Now, the shots are ringing off towards the stewards instead, so he's able to sort of kite backwards using the mobility of the Protoss Air. But, yeah, at this stage, I mean, okay, you're starting to get sassed. A good number of your units are going to get absolutely
This just tells you that you need Magnetars.
That's right.
He's got some Phoboses here.
Yeah, they're going to help protect the back line of Hippogriffs.
They're not doing too much protecting at the moment. You got to stick him in front.
Yeah, that is true.
Absolutely annihilated.
Still annihilation, and that's all he needs.
All right.
Still
What's
just
the call,
Demiurges.
Shambler?
Still just Demiurges.
He didn't bring his Demiurges. He's got a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Could have brought him into that. Had him round up around here would have helped grab us some anti-Cathons.
You know, it's kind of interesting because this is the first game that we really see like a long, drawn-out Tier 3 battle from both players. This is the first game that's actually gotten to this stage. I think that was at least in the grand final. This is how we kick things off around here in Cosmonarchy Brood War. Now, some of the Phoboses have already been turned over, but they're not going to be like that for long. And all of the splash damage is a little bit too busy being dealt with elsewhere. So there's no more AOE, no more at all. And the Demiurges are going to be next to be targeted. I think one of their shots flew off into the distance somewhere over there. But yeah, at this stage, you're pretty much all set. He knows he's figured it out at this point that he can wait for the control to wear off in that context. So he's going to go ahead and reclaim his men. But he doesn't have any more shamans to heal them up passively. So if he wants to repair them, he's going to have to do it. Oh no, his shamans stayed alive. They healed each other through the Solarians mask. The band of brothers.
They're immortal.
Yeah. A nice anchor.
The feet have landed.
with two Cyprians just to salt the wound, honestly. Like, of course, activity in the
I'm
middle
not sure
of
if anything will ever come down there, but if they do, they're going to discover some feet.
Well, some Valkyries to add to the pain. Come on. This is how you know Shambler is really angry. He did this to you on Repulsion as well. He called you a Tier 3 boy, whatever that means. Shambler goes, get this.
Give them.
It's true. Maybe he can pass it off.
We've got an analog.
Yeah, I think
there's another analog coming. I don't think you understand how little I have.
Yeah, I think Shambler thinks this game has been over for a while, and maybe in some ways it has, but let's be real. Like, the depletion's kicked in. He's finally starting to harvest minerals again for the first time in what feels like forever. And that's based on the base in the upper middle there that he's laid claim to. He's really just gotten nothing going. More Empyreans are being made. Plenty of more Valks are probably on the way. And loads of Hippogriffs, fully HP. Thanks to the
wait, if you're in this spot and you don't know what to do, you got to flush them out, make more diadems.
Yeah.
You got to force them to come to you.
Absolutely.
Now, of course, you run the risk of them getting stolen, but that's why you just build like 30,000 Sentinels. I mean, meat's back to floating gobs of money again, so you can't afford it.
Well, he's going to make his presence known here. There's no more witnesses around, is what it looks like to me.
There is an analog. If that analog gets off like 30 Hippogriff shots, it could be insane.
I think that might be what he's hoping for here, as the Shambler is in a very awkward position. Maybe the chat message from Mist might have given him the idea that, oh my god, wait, maybe this is a live game. But yeah, you're right. I think the diadems would work really well. Obviously, the analog hits it pretty hard, but you know, you can repair through that, particularly with like something like a Talos. You can also just deal with that and trade more cost efficiently because the analog can only accept one shot anyway from a single diadem. And even then, it's
one over here.
Yeah.
He's upgraded his infrastructure.
Yeah, he's now supporting 5 hippogriffs at once.
Here we go.
The final
Here we go.
frontier.
The hippogriffs
They're
are
on
spinning.
a move command.
They're
not
move.
attacking.
No!
Oh my god! Utter devastation.
It happens
Don't worry.
again.
Here comes the My god, man.
Oh, I gotta get my coffee after that one. Holy shit.
Unbelievable scenes. After such a grueling event, for it to vanish in the blink of an eye. I think if he didn't follow command there, he actually would have had a chance, but he needed to be able to respond. And they were all lined up so juicily. And I think a lot of them were already wounded because, yeah, the Empyreans would have hit them a lot. So suddenly it all makes sense. Goodness. I mean, how am I going to handle this? That's the question I'm asking myself. Repulsion was selected by Mystery Meat. I like how Shambler's statement that the reason why TOS is competitive is basically because of like bugged units or improperly implemented units or whatever. I don't know if that's true, man. I think maybe he just didn't play the early game very well. Waiting on Mess to return with coffee. What's going on, Mage? Greetings.
I can't believe that was real, that happened. My God, man.
Well, I was expecting this series to only take about 2 hours to complete, but that first match took 1 hour, so what does that say about our state of affairs? I think it's because when they get damage taken under Clarions, their energy probably doesn't actually drop or whatever, because it's like reduced by the Clarion link, right? So they can actually sustain quite a bit. Really, all of the damage that is taken, that is split or whatever, should be sustained then onto the energy or something, I guess. I don't know. That interaction is probably really difficult to balance if we don't make some sort of special needs handling for it, which obviously conceptually I don't want to do, but we'll figure that out later.
Ah, dear. That was so silly.
It sure was.
Well, I think that's the fastest I've ever seen a stack of what, like 15-something hippogriffs die. There was a follow command, and he turned around and he punked himself. There was what, like 2 analogs in there?
Yeah, it was 2 analogs plus all of the units that were being protected by Clarions. So I was just going over how that interaction worked in my head, and it feels like they're probably like basically not only does the analog basically fire a shot for every unit that gets protected by a Clarion, it also I don't think takes full damage to its energy, although I haven't tested that exact thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, analogs seem kind of busted. Like,
Yeah.
I thought it was insane that they killed all my what do you call them? The artillery. Yeah, it annihilated them. Almost, if I had kept shooting with the Gezzies, they would have all died. I don't even want to know what happens if you throw a bunch of toss girls at them and they have a Clarion. It probably just results in this massive bouncing and everything you own dies. This will not be quick. Each game is going to look like that now.
I sure hope not.
It's okay. I can keep going. It's only 10:20. I've only been awake a day.
Yeah.
I can do this. Remember, I used to go for week-long uptime back when I was productive.
I just ran a check to see real quick if I had any updates that I only had locally and not on the public release or whatever, but that is not the case. So I actually have no idea what's up with that. Like, I was wondering why I specifically desynced. My theory at this point is that I selected the treasury when it like reset and died at the same time, in terms of unit control, like whoever was owning it.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow that has something to do with it because I was the one who selected it and nobody else did, or something. I don't know. I don't know why that would be a thing. But selection is weird.
Well, you're about to get selected.
Game number 2 between Mystery Meat and the Shambler. This time, probably won't be an hour. Wink. And
He
Mystery Meat is
says
in the
with
top
such
right.
optimism in his eyes.
Let's see how it goes. Now, Repulsion is a map that these players have played plenty on. It's not like Death Spiral, which is a new addition for this particular tournament. So, see how it goes.
I don't know. Meat might try something cheesy. Meaty and cheesy. There's a Canada.
There is a Canada.
Genuine Canada moment.
But is it cheesy?
I don't know. It's triple gas on meats. That
It's
feels
cheesy.
like Wraiths to me. Oh, he pulled one off. It still feels like Wraiths to me.
He wants his quarry at a good timing. He's going to grab it right after this. There it is.
Yes, Shambler, I am. Give it to us.
Don't do it. I have to
Do it,
sleep.
Shambler.
I work tomorrow. Gateway.
Yeah,
coming in.
you work on this because each game is going to be an hour, hour and a half. You'll be casting it from your cell phone while walking.
Yeah, classic. Those phone streams were some of the best stuff I ever did, to be honest.
Now you just need to do mic streams where you have the phone stuck inside of mic and you just stick mic in inconspicuous places and the stream is just a fast cut of confusion.
The stream is an edited video, blurring the lines of reality.
It's Gateway first, not Panoptis. What is this, Shambler? What is this hesitating shit?
Yeah, they're both going a fairly standard opener, right? Gateway on the side of Shambler, and then Meat has gone Quarry into Stockade. It does delay his first military unit quite considerably, but that doesn't seem to bother him. And
I guess because it's a longer distance.
Yeah.
Probably just as like hunching Shambler isn't doing anything particularly cheesy after that, but I don't know. I feel like after a long game like that, you would expect someone to do something cheesy.
A palate cleanser, if you will.
Well, at least to like change the pace and try to catch someone off guard. Double gateway.
Not bad, not bad.
Unusually standard. Maybe he hopes to apply some pressure before the gnat comes up and this choke turns into a wall.
Yeah, I think he wants to avoid the normal pattern of play. Looks like maybe Meat lost track of where that scribe went.
I mean, against early Cyprian, I feel like you can't just rush analogs. Because you can't just graze the anchors with them constantly, and any stray unit is going to get killed by that.
He's building a pylon on the low ground that'll at least spot for air units, although the vision is not quite enough to see the very left edge. But if they're
going hugging the corner, you're not going to see them. But I mean, who honestly expects a pylon in such a dumbass location anyway? That's why it works so well.
Yeah.
There's a star pad immediately.
Halfway done, yeah.
No second stockade, straight into a star pad. I have to wonder if it's going to be a Wraith or if he's just like calling some kind of early aggression is going to go in early Anseal again.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he saw the second gateway with his worker scout. Didn't look like it to me.
It died before it even went up the ramp, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so... You know, he knows that there's a Dracodon opener, and that means that the normal pattern of play seems to just be, you know, Wraith follow-up. Now, Mead has done pretty well with things like Hurakan drops, right? Mm-hmm. He obviously did that quite famously against 3 Crow to close out that series, in the only game that wasn't down to the wire, really. Treasury is coming up, though, so for now we're going to have to wait before any other shenanigans ensue. And an expansion attempt for the Shambler in the bottom. So his
that's a little unusual, especially with a double gate. I kind of expected early aggression, but maybe he saw like the Cyprians and the anchor and was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just expand then.
Yes, and it's the correct
move. I mean, at that point, you
may
as well, right?
Yeah, it's the correct move. The Wraith will go ahead and confirm it, and there's actually nothing at home right now, so there's a window of opportunity for it to get maybe 2 scribe kills before that Dracodon finishes.
Yeah, there could be some tickling. Absolutely tickling.
Anseal on the back end, so the second Wraith was
He
done.
does not go for the tickling. I think he might be more interested to see if there's a huge army going his way or not.
Yeah, he's just going to scout the Dracodon on the low ground, and... That's still valid information. You know, you could have maybe said, "Oh, you." I
think it's pretty obvious. Shambler saw that Wraith because he immediately built an embassy.
Yeah, he also was moving his Dracodon up the ramp at the time too. So it's a situation where he was able to notice the shimmer at the time, which is good for him. Means that both of our players are still.
The Treasury is helping Mystery mine from his.
Classic.
Oh my god, that was
just a little reminder that this game can be quite stupid.
Yeah, I think there was some mining moments in the games I had with Shambler that were weird. I can't remember which ones off the top of my head, but there was definitely tism here and there. I almost call this feels like the Benno build to me. That's what I view this as.
Yeah, it's like kind of similar.
He gets more stockades, but like it just like I don't know if it was Benno or Mystery that did this first, but it was just like surrounded at that point where then Benno just did this every game.
Yeah.
Which was the stockade into the fast expand. He usually got more stockades earlier, but it was still like the early quarry into the expansion.
Yeah.
And then Mystery kind of just does that too, and then kind of like everybody just kind of does that at this point.
So the double Wraith move is actually going to be poised to see the Dracodons moving out. Doesn't look like Shambler noticed it initially. Now he's going to pull back 2 of them.
Yep.
And he will
got
lose
a little bit more
stride.
kill threat on the. You know.
Just some
keeps him in his
happening.
base too, right? Like,
right.
And then if he's not really comfortable with him being attacked, then.
Well, look at what's happening in the main, though. There's a Hurakan drop fomenting. The second one, actually, is going to be a double Hurakan drop, but probably onto the same base. He could split them, but when he scouts the Matrix on one and not on the other, I think maybe he's going to use that as an opportunity. Maybe just
but all the Draken. Oh no, the Drakens are going up towards his base. That's oh no.
One of them is deciding.
Oh no, the Ahmed Nation.
I think Ahmed is going to claim a dub here.
All was peaceful until the Ahmed Nation attacked.
The Antseal is patrolling for witnesses. One of them is going to come in. Will it be at an inopportune time? How fast does that Trojan go away? Remember, when you detect a transport, you can read its contents. I think, well, Shambler
all
is
you
going
need to know. Yeah, all you need to know is take one glance, and Shambler sees it. He saw it. He knows. He knows.
Yeah, he can
He's confirming.
that.
He's spying it.
Yeah.
The Antseal sees him, but does Meat knows that he sees him? If Meat knows that he sees him, oh yeah.
He's gonna have
this
to
might change what Meat does now. I feel like if Meat was gonna commit, he had to commit hard right away, because every moment that he waits, this Draken's waiting down the ledge now, awaiting the arrival of Achmet to leap into their open, awaiting your arms.
Oh, he's still waiting. He wants the full load. He wants 16 Achmeds.
Well, now there's a matrix in the expansion. Now,
one matrix.
It's just one matrix per base, right?
Yeah.
Like, 2 Trojans full of Achmed definitely can take out either one of those.
Raids
and the red spots the
position,
Drakidans. Yeah. So, Shambler might lure himself into a false sense of security here, thinking that because of all that he's in a good spot. I mean, he's making an engram in the bottom. That if that finishes, then that'll definitely help. But they could go straight to the main. There's 3 Draken out. He's building an engram there.
He's going to go ahead and lower the anchor over here, it looks like. It's an interesting position. I guess he really wants to try to occupy.
Maybe, I think Meat, at this point, Meat is second guessing if he wants to do that. I think he wants to take out these Drakidans. Yeah.
Okay. He's going to use it right on that for that particular purpose. One of them does get focused down, so that's 5 dead Achmeds right there. But look at that! Plenty of action happening there. So he does pincer it. I mean, it's a legit strategy thanks to the hot drop passive. So
a little costly, but you know, I guess he figured that like, well, I'm probably gonna lose everything if I drop anyways because he's had so much time to prepare for it.
No.
So I may as well like do some damage here. I mean, he took a lot of Achmed deaths and a Wraith kill
and
at the end of that,
yeah.
and he might even lose this Antseal. Antseals are giga tanky though, so he kind of just.
There was a little bit of a botched stutter step from the Shambler, so he wasn't able to do too much. He's going to charge up this ramp.
There's just feet everywhere.
Yeah.
This is a little bit of an overcommit though. Got a Wraith for it. It's something, I guess, but ultimately not worth it.
The third base is being set up, and the first structure he builds there after the pylons is an engram.
Binder full of women.
I guess this is a song reference or something. That's pretty good, though.
There's a double fulcrum, yeah. Triple fulcrum, and an Atlas.
Already up. So this is the tier 2 commit off of the 3 bases, instantly saturating the gas. By the way, guys, this is really big, important information, and I forgot to mention this as like a PSA before we started the grand finals. You do need 3 workers on gas to fully saturate it, FYI. And everybody's been doing 2.
Do you?
Well, the third worker is like 50% efficient. So it's the equivalent of having an extra like ridge worth of income.
God, I wish I had known that weeks ago when we started playing again.
I know.
God.
Well, I said 2.5, but I think people thought that was only for minerals, but that's the same mining time.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to minerals, man. That's just a stack of beef. But when it comes to my cocaine and my meth, goddamn, I'm not going to try to stack that up. Just think how much faster I could be getting tier 2 anyway.
Well, look at the example that's happening in the top middle. That's actually where the Drakidans are going anyway. But if you look at Mystery Meat's third, there's an idle time there between one of the Masons arriving and the other one leaving. And that idle time is occupied by the third one. So, hey, this base does get, the anchor gets canceled, the Mason gets killed, so there is going to be a response, but it's a little bit late, and the Drakidans are already up
response.
The ramp. Yeah.
There's not really that many Drakidans here. He's very possibly going to get... I mean, Mystery Meat kind of has to be on the ball here to stop half of his workers from dying in the process.
He's getting ready to drop the Hurricanes yet again.
I don't know. Sometimes you don't need to be fancy. You just got to charge all in.
Well, he wants to make sure that he catches everything, and well, he kind of
gonna get half of them, man.
Yeah.
So many Achmed.
I love the Achmeds, honestly. It's good. Save Achmed. Save him.
They have 80 health. Like.
Oh, never mind. He didn't save him.
It's so beefy.
30
few
workers
worker
ahead.
kills, few infantry kills, but I mean, it's 55 to 85 now.
Yes. And it's all Drakidans. There's no other tech available here. There's embassy tech, technically, but, you know, Shambler can go up to a 4th base pretty quick to try to stay ahead, but at this point, I mean, look at the money, you know?
Phalanxes and a Fountainhead.
It's going to be
What am I going to do with the
City.
Fountainhead? Is he going to go back to Starport? I don't see him building any Starports currently.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be straight to Sundogs again, but he's going to go ahead and establish his dominance over in that upper middle location. And he does have his, Antseal and Trojan hot squad over here with the Wraith Scout into the bottom right. So that is probably going to allow him... Either he's going to hold on to this unit as a defensive reaction and just wait for his, full tech and et cetera to really come to life, or I think maybe Meat is actually going to be looking to do some harassment here. And honestly, if you hot drop an occupied engram with nothing other than the Hurricanes, I think 8 Hurricanes will kill an engram, but they have to just be...
They have to be all... If they all surround it, then yeah. I think its splash will get separated. Because I was noticing when DF was dropping the engrams on me, that it actually took them a while to kill the workers.
Yes.
Like, it wasn't like they just lightning bolted my entire worker line. It actually took them a couple of shots to kill each worker. And Ahmed has a lot more health than the worker does, so... You definitely could do a surround on it. You wouldn't want to do it while the Matrix is shooting you, though.
There's loads of static defense.
You have the chance of losing your Trojan before it even finishes dropping.
Yeah.
There is a single Maverick on that bridge.
Standing guard and an Ahmed on the ramp to the right of it.
I don't think they know that base is up yet, though.
Probably
Maybe the
not.
Wraith scattered it.
Probably not. I'm going to guess not.
There's more. It's okay. There's more Mavericks coming. Benno smiles within their visors. Yes.
Hey, there's a third Trojan and getting ready to load in all those Hurricanes. Meanwhile, what is he doing with tier 2.5? I guess nothing yet.
It's okay. I think Shambler is getting wary about that because his other bases are getting really heavily fortified. But, his main has still just got the 1 engram and the 1 matrix. If
I guess he's just trying to expand forever and build a lot of static defense, and that's why he thinks he's doing it for you. But hey, the Phalanx is in deployment mode. They will outrange engrams quite handily.
Yeah. It's not really that effective against Tyrion, though. Like, with Protoss, you definitely have to try to get some, I like to get up Tectons to have at least something to move around.
Oh, some Dracodons have found some infantry.
Yeah.
Something that's really underrated about the Hurricanes and etc. is that they end up working quite well for stopping flash shielding from occurring, because the burn damage does stop it from proccing. So it ends up being pretty good. It's also against Zerg regen, pretty solid there as well. Anything that requires them to be out of combat to work. Now, unfortunately, he's allowed that to get away from him.
Yeah, Mystery's Anseal is not following his infantry down. He's getting a little separated because he's controlling his tanks at the moment.
Yeah.
So the Dragon has kind of picked apart a lot of their support.
Oh, that's okay, because the Mavericks can go ahead and
the rest of them are diving into the engram, arms outstretched. Yes, Daddy, give it to me.
Well, he can start to use these Trojans for repositioning the Phalanxes while they're in siege mode.
Yeah, you don't see it too often, but this is insanely broken when you know how to use it. You technically can use it to eat the engram shots.
Yep.
Or you can use it to kill your own Mason. Oh, no, Ahmed and his various cohorts are diving into it. Ahmed, no.
They're trying.
I think,
by the way, it's worth noting, Meat's doing this fancy footwork, and also his floating 6K minerals. So.
Yeah. But I was going to say, Shambler's kind of like losing his window of opportunity to take control of this.
Yeah.
And, ramming this with Dracodons, he already knows it doesn't work. There's also an Anseal there. There's so much Ahmed in his face, getting into his raccoon wounds.
Oh.
That alone with the Anseal is proving to be a pain.
Oh,
it took him a while to start building tech, right? So he was also floating an amount of money. And he just spat out a ton of crap, and he's making some Exemplar, which will help deal with this if he can kill them before they kill all of his mining.
I think this base is going to get shut down, but it really depends on how soon it gets reinforced.
So many phalanxes. Meat has so many phalanxes. I think that those Exemplar are going to catch him a little off guard.
Well, if they get spotted before the big phalanx army starts to rally down, that's actually going to be really good for him. Now, he does unload right in range of the engram.
There's an analog coming.
Oh, dear.
Mavericks are dying en masse. Benno smiles. It doesn't matter if they die, there's more anyways.
These Trojans are dangerously low, so...
Just fucking Shambler doing. Right into the lobster. Absolutely lobstered. One phalanx goes down.
They're getting redirected. Anseal finally is going to be depleted of energy, and Ahmed is still... Oh, he just barely didn't kill that Drakiden.
Shambler is able to help deal with the attack force, thanks to a large number of it offing itself on its defenses needlessly, but
hey, you could kill that
who's
guy.
keeping count?
He's got no health.
The Exemplar are building. There is a Straton coming out. I think he's going to go analogs. And
yeah, of course. He's going to go for
eventually.
the Clarions and try to do it that way.
Now, there are Sundogs coming. They worked well last time.
Honestly, I think you can just specifically go for the Clarions in that kind of engagement, or either the analogs if they're split. So if he can get eyes on this and start to pick them off, it's going to be hell to pay, I think.
I think what's going to be hell to pay is if he continue. Right now, he only has 2 Exemplar, but if he keeps making them, he's going to run into a Benno situation again. Where, except this time, there's going to be like 1,000 Sundogs, and the instant the Exemplar peek their heads up, they're going to get annihilated.
Well, he's cleaning up on the big ramp. More phalanxes are being deployed.
Building engrams all over the goddamn place.
He's trying his
Again,
hardest.
not really amazing against Terran because there's tanks everywhere diving into his engrams and just tanking them. 4 armor.
Get him, Ahmed. Honestly, I think Ahmed's meta.
Ahmed is very good. I mean, 1 armor, 80 health, not really that expensive, mineral only, I believe.
Yep, 75
and
miles.
Decent damage. Doesn't have stem,
but they rend armor.
He forces enemies to respond to him. Is the thing, right? Like when you reach a point like this as Terran, like you need a front line. Normally, you'd build vultures. How much health did vultures have back then? 80, 90? I think it was 80.
I think it was 80. Yeah. So now,
how much health does Ahmed have? Ahmed is basically a vulture, just more melee oriented with AOE and armor shredding. Meanwhile, Shambler is slowly losing grip of this game.
Getting another Astral Omen. He's really swarming out the Exemplars, but again, there are some Sundogs here.
He doesn't know the Sundogs are here, and when he discovers the Sundogs are here, it's going to be just tragic. It's going to be really tragic. I think Mean is just like intentionally waiting for whatever it is to come out. You know, something's going on here. It's going to be Vassals. That's going to force the Sundogs to come out, and then Shambler is going to know the gig's up. But it's like the tanks are going to get annihilated because I have no armor. Oh, that's a massacre.
Oh, that worked pretty poorly there for Shambler, I have to say.
Well, at least he didn't lose his Exemplar for the effort. It definitely could have gone worse.
That is true. Yeah, the Exemplars are very slow, as you can see, and the Clarion is out, so specifically against, you know, stuff like the Phalanx in siege mode, stuff like the Sundogs, you know, like what you want to do to bleed out the energy of the analog is to deal enough damage to it. And the other thing you can do, by the way, is you can use some sort of ability like Irradiate to pierce the shields, you can say, of the Clarion itself. Because if it has no shields, its passive doesn't work. Another deployment. I mean, this is a ticking time bomb, right? Like, there are a bunch of zealots coming out.
Shambler is just getting, like, his testicles torsioned at this point.
Ahmed is going to try to peel for all of these phalanxes as, you know, the zealots are going to charge in. Fairly cost-efficient in theory, but Ahmed honestly stays alive.
So many Ahmeds died all at once.
Oh, the Clarion was just revealed. And there's no analog here either, so the Sundogs are not in a position to punish, but there are more phalanxes on the other side of the map.
The Sundogs aren't there.
No.
The Exemplar just wiped the tanks off the face of the earth and go completely unpunished. There's more tanks over there out in the middle of nowhere. Nobody suspects.
Unfortunately, that one Madrigal just gets absolutely annihilated by engrams. He's trying to siege over this ramp, but it's not working too hot. The Sundogs are not responding to the threat.
It's coming. Here it is. It's here.
Yeah, the analogs were not there in time.
Oh.
Self-sassed right there, dude.
We've entered a new age of broken shit.
Well, if he's not careful, these phalanxes will also get picked off.
Oh. He doesn't even, probably not even aware they're there. I mean, I don't know if Meat's even aware that they're there. Maybe he just intentionally left them there just to be annoying, but they can't even stop the scribe from mining. Oh. This tiny little piddling army has just
Hey, they're out. They're out. They got nothing.
I don't know, man.
He needs one more shot. Got him. He got him. He got away with 8 HP. He got him. There's no more
That
analogs
was
for a while.
so insanely cost effective. Holy shit, has Mystery Meat got a lot of money. You know what, Mystery Meat? It is time. The time has come to create some stockades to show Benno the holy way to the Ascension and build nothing but Ahmed.
My God, man.
Just nothing but Ahmed. He's got a lot of workers in the middle. Oh, he's gonna build a lot of watchdogs, and the Daedala is coming. Some Amarants have found a secret base, but it's already got some sentinels. It's okay, more are coming. You know, if Shambler is able to play the analog well, there is not really a lot that is super effective against it. Unless he does go mass Ahmed or something
his
like that.
Clarions to watchdogs.
Yeah. Oh, it's a disaster.
Well, this base will stay up as a result, losing an analog and a Clarion, amongst other things.
Yeah, you don't want to lose the Clarions and the analogs. You got to bunch them up, keep them fudge packed nice and tight.
Well, he doesn't have any more Clarions as far as I can see, so fairly expensive unit.
There's some Madrigals, but you know what we haven't seen for a while is the Madrigal drop. That said, I think he's a little too heavily fortified for it at the moment. But you know what? That never stopped Nablime from trying it with 7 to 8 Trojans at a time. Who cares if all of them died as long as like 1 or 2 Madrigals got a shot off?
Well, there's way more Ahmeds where that came from. Benno has been replaced, I think. It's literally just Ahmed and nothing
It's
else.
all Ahmed. He just needs more. He's still floating. His money's going up, not down. He needs more Ahmed.
What is he doing? What a goober.
I don't know. The memes have awoken, that's for sure.
Well, he has to
So
try
much
to
Ahmed.
do his darndest to deal with the fact that the analog exists.
Just so much Ahmed. He's just going to single file into the engram and wardens.
Yeah, this is where Selection Extender would help.
But you don't have a Crucible, right? So your attack speed is not quite high enough. It might take a lot of Ahmed, but eventually it will... Okay, never mind. He ran out of Ahmeds.
Well, there's more. He just didn't send them all. For whatever reason. Hey, honestly, that was pretty effective. Almost did that half of that engram's health.
Oh, Apothecaries are coming. Okay.
Here we go.
What do you suppose it's going to be from those? I mean, just build Silver Tongues at this point?
I think Dilettantes might be the answer because of just how ridiculously fast they attack, and analogs will just end up losing.
Don't
all of their
Dilettantes like absorb every 4th hit or something?
No, not anymore. That was an old passive. They just have a really rapid fire one gun. Oh, there goes all the
Oh my god, the
cells.
Madrigals.
Yeah.
It's a disaster.
He's,
At this point, Shambler surely realizes he is well and truly contained.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well on that front. He's trying to take a bunch of extra bases. I mean, he
Got
has
some
all the money in the
shoes.
world. He's just not building any units. So.
I don't know. He's waiting for those Apothecaries.
It could actually be mass Silver Tongues and then just try to use them to siege down the engrams since they do outrange them.
Silver Tongues had changed when I tried to use them, and their cloaking was different, and it is Silver Tongues.
Yeah.
So I didn't have very good effectiveness against Hippogriffs, but then it doesn't change the fact their damage is still really high.
The other thing
Hippogriffs
you
are
can
just
do
that
with
much
the
higher
Silver
range.
Tongues is precision strike, kill the Clarions, and then have something else deal with the analogs. Because when you fight the Clarions, right, like, you know, if they're out of position ever and the Silver Tongues can punish, at that point the analogs aren't going to retaliate against them.
They also might all kill themselves.
Yeah, that's why if you have to get them almost when they're, you know, I think he's just trying any old tool that he's never tried before because he's also
Go
queued up
one
some
of
seven
everything.
steps, yeah.
Oh, why not?
I mean, I'm still wondering why there aren't any diadems because that kind of forces the analogs and the Clarions to go somewhere specific, and then you can kind of harass on the other side. Maybe try to pick them apart while they're rotating or something.
Maybe he wants to squeeze Shambler through a garden hose without diadems for a change. It's not even an atelier coming. He could afford 1 or 2.
He hasn't bothered to even lift his data off preemptively, so yeah.
Oh yeah, I ran into that. I didn't realize they can't build when they're on the side of the map. That was really demented. I was so confused why I couldn't build an add-on there. Shambler charges forward.
A whole bunch of units are getting slapped, and we do indeed have the hash. I got Active Nation
Ahmed.
ID 1. I don't know what you got.
I did not get anything.
Okay, so it was just me then. Oh, that probably means I have to watch you in a second here, so I'll get ready for that. A lot of the Madrigals are getting smoked. They can actually avoid their own projectile, but it doesn't look like that's something that Meat is aware of.
Analog's killing everything. It's so dumb.
Again, he could be moving during these shots, but he's not quite interested in doing that just yet.
Simulacrum defeats Magical. You heard it here, lads. So we've got some 7 steps. I think they had like a healing or something.
When they fire, they debuff the unit, and then it fires back towards the 7-step, so it's going to look like analog shots, funnily enough. But that's a line. All right, we were back.
Can you see my...
Yes, we're back in looking at you.
Defeat stream. All right, the 7 steps charge forward. Oh, they died.
Yeah, they're mostly getting tickled by the engrams. There's a delay on their return shot, and it basically pierces anything that travels back through, similar to...
A little bit of sustain there, yeah.
That's from the shamans. There's stuff going on the other bridge as well. I think maybe that's actually where the Clarions and analogs were, so...
Yeah, some towers were annihilated. It looks like that the Clarions might get annihilated next if they're not... Never mind. Clarions can defeat Watchdogs. Alright, here we go. The ultimate battle of Ahmed versus Analog. Man versus Ball.
Again, the Silver Tongues are proven really, really effective here. They nuke down all of the analogs before anything even happens. So I think at this point, the sheer amount of economic sanctity that is provided by that and the very, very fast follow works out quite well in that context for the Silver Tongues. I really don't see exactly how this one's going to possibly go in favor of Shambler. I think he's just committed too hard to memery at this stage.
Yeah, I think this was a meme. Annihilated.
Yeah, he's just getting owned.
So that's apparently how you deal with analogs. Mass infantry.
Yeah,
I mean, Silver Tongues were already really strong, but you definitely need something without like AoE that's going to get duplicated and insta-gib your entire army in one shot.
Yeah, the engrams are being tickled to death by them.
It's a little binary of a response, but
yeah, right now it's probably overtuned, but there is a response, which is heartening to see.
I just can't get over the fucking Sundogs killing themselves. The Shamans lead the charge, just a wall of giant trailer trucks.
Yeah, there's another analog up there. It could.
He's wiggling around. He's
can't
blockaded by the simulacrum.
Yeah. And there's no Clarion there to help him out either, so he really is just mega cucked. And look at that. Just like that.
Clarion has... Oh, never mind. Clarion has departed.
Trying to normalize the volume
duplicating
here.
The simulacrums. Oh, they died. Oh.
The Shamans, to sustain them, work out quite well. Yeah. They're instead sustaining themselves.
You've got work boots and you've got shoes. This is so stupid.
Fuck that Clarion.
Yeah, the Clarion's dead.
Got him.
Well, if this engram finishes, it might be able to delay the game. Ah, never mind. It's getting shot. So only you desynced again.
I actually don't even know if I desynced because my game looked pretty similar to yours, but I swapped to your view for the safety. Well, that was yet another silly game. I think maybe now Shambler will realize he has to maybe play a little more seriously. Let's see.
I don't think anything's going to beat the horde of hippogriffs instantly killing themselves. That was just like 200 gas worth of units killing what, like 3,000, 4,000 gas worth of units or something? Like, it was just insanity.
In that particular case, well, no, analogs are very expensive and so are Clarions, but it was definitely lopsided and cost efficient.
I don't know. I feel like in that game, Shambler was just memeing, like intentionally memeing, like maybe trying to unwind after that or something like that. I'm not sure. It didn't feel like a serious take from him at that point. It could be that he is feeling the fatigue.
I think maybe
that I have drained his mojo.
Yeah.
With all the lunacy and diadems. I will get some more coffee while this starts.
All right. Oh, Shambler, why are you taking ages to ready? Well, we are definitely seeing some very strange strategies, but that game was a little bit closer to standard, and I do think that I agree with Mesk's take. Maybe Shambler is unwinding after the last very long, hour-long game. I think we're down to the maps that everybody knows how to play, though. Remember, Death Spiral is a new one, and Mystery Mead is not practiced on it. Repulsion, kind of textbook map, right? It's played all the time. Then we go into Infinite Velocity. Okay, there's a little bit of an asterisk because of the Nituses, but it's a very large-scale macro map once those disappear. Beyond that, we are in a situation where we are going to be playing Equilibrium and Nemesis Station to close, and these are also fairly standard maps. Now Shambler has arrived. I will wait for Mystery Meat to respond. Let's get into it. I don't want to start the game when one person says R, but then it's like 30 seconds have passed, and then they're not actually R, so... Now we're getting into things. Mystery Meat on the left-hand side. Shambler on the right-hand side. Let's see what happens. Now, this gas is actually a little bit further away than this one, so if you're planning on some sort of timing push, you actually want to go grab this one first. But I think Meat will be going for his patented Shambler start, or quarry start. We'll see how the Shambler adapts to the selection extender. I'm sure a lot of things are going to change then. That's another reason why we're taking a break from Ascension tournaments, such that we can... we'll pump the brakes on that. Eventually it'll transition into more of like a once-a-month type deal. But for now, let's celebrate the fact that we are already at our third tournament and already at our grand finals.
This map.
It's the third map, my homie.
That's 3.
That is 3. Third map of the third tournament's grand final, which is the third series.
Do you think they're going to cheese?
I'm actually not sure. I would, if I had to put numbers on it, it would be Shambler cheeses first. But it's going to be a Fulcrum start, and that's not what I was expecting out of Mr. Meat. So,
well, it's a Stargate start.
Yeah, well, that kind of tells you everything.
That's basically cheese. I mean, I don't know. At this point with the gas changes, it's not really cheese anymore. It's definitely very viable.
It feels like versus Terran, where they can just throw a Goliath or some Cyprians and an Anchor, or just build Watchdogs, as a matter of fact. It's a little bit less
it's not...
effective.
I don't feel like it's as good against Terran. Against Protoss is definitely good. Zerg, I feel like it definitely can be good, depending if you, like, scout their build. If they go Quaz, then it's probably, like, an instant win. If they go Hydrock, it's probably quite viable. Because yes, they're pretty expensive, and you can run around Hydras for a while. I don't know if I would fancy your chances against Zorkiz unless you're particularly good with land effects. But Terran, I mean, he's going a Vulture first, so...
He'll see the Stargate,
he just scouted it, though, right?
Yeah. He just canceled his Vulture immediately. He's going to save up for a Goliath instead. That's
so is this is going to be a Panoptus first. Yeah. No, it wasn't even Aurora. He was saving. He had just enough money for a Panoptus, but he decided not to build it.
The real Giga Chat move would be you walk right next to the Stargate and build a Watchdog there.
I mean, yeah, you could.
I think he could have, yeah.
Even if it's a Panoptus that pops up. And I think the Panoptus might kill it, but you would take a lot of damage. No, he's doing a tech swap. I don't know. I feel like if you wanted to... Maybe he, like, this... Well, this Vulture's going to hop through the Nidus and it's going to begin. Yeah.
Yeah, the Aurora just left, and there's an idle Stargate here, so it's going to be a while.
I almost feel like Shambler wanted him to see the Stargate and then decided, fuck it, I'm going to go Cenotaph. But now there's suddenly a Vulture and it's tickling.
Yeah, the Aurora's recalled, so this is going to be very, very difficult.
Unlike me, the Vultures will actually deal some damage in all likelihood.
Well, I don't know. Meat's getting
A little
very
bit of damage
kerfuffled.
anyways.
He did get a single kill, and most of the value otherwise is just going to be keeping the Aurora at home. And maybe stopping Shambler from scaling too much. He does get a second one on the way out. But back at home for his end, he does have a Goliath out and a Watchdog. So he's very well insulated against the early play there. He has a lobotomy mine regarding the Nidus.
It's going to be Legionnaire spam.
Yeah, he's going to want to use the Nidus, too. I mean, he's not rallying them anywhere, but... no, he's actually going to kill the Nidus. So he's worried about Vultures or additional moves coming in. When this...
Legionnaires move so fast across the map,
Yeah.
I don't think it really makes a big difference for him. Yeah, I think it's going to be Legionnaire Panoptus spam. Same thing he did against me. The Legionnaires are really strong, and Goliaths, I feel like, are fucked against them.
Yeah, they're not going to
They're really expensive. You've only got the one Fulcrum for now. Even if you build some anchors, it's going to put you like 350 behind just for an anchor and a Goliath, not even speaking of the gas investment.
Yeah, this is going to be tough for Mystery Meat to come out of. He is adding a stockade after his star pad, so eventually he'll have Cyprians and anchors, we would have to imagine. And he has enough Goliaths that he can patrol their grounds and make sure that he's not getting, too heavily tickled. Right now, it's third Aurora out, and second Cenotaph has just warped in, so definitely committal on the Legionnaire front. But he's going to float a lot of gas.
Yeah. I just find it kind of weird he went for like Auroras instead of the Panoptus, because the Auroras aren't going to really do too much to the Goliaths at all. And they're not really going to do too much against the Watchdogs. So I'm not really sure, but their little kamikaze attack could be useful in an actual fight to deal a little bit of burst damage.
Well, the Aurora's just moving around and being a little annoying with their harassment. The Goliaths are all the way down in the bottom end. The Watchdog will pull them in. A little bit of damage dealt to the hulls, but nothing too significant just yet. One thing that is kind of nice about Terran is obviously you can change up
Early
your
Vestry. It'll be medic Goliath.
An interesting
as
idea.
Opposed, yeah, as opposed to Cyprians. I
thi-
feel like what Meat will do is early aggression at this stage. If this Nidus does not get destroyed, you could just pop all his shit right through it.
Yeah.
You could have like 5-6 Goliaths and like 5-6 clerics inside your base. But by that point, there's going to be quite a number of Legionnaires. So if they fight on the ramp, I think the Goliaths win. If they fight out in the open, I think Legionnaires win. Oh my god, there's so many.
They're going to go through the Nidus here, so he's about to be in for a rude awakening.
He does not have an anchor. He does have 4 Goliaths and one cleric.
And a cleric, and he's got another
So
Goliath.
there's a lot of
about
meat
halfway
in
down.
that, and they did run into a lobster, so he knows they're coming.
He's going to instantly come on the backside, but one of his
but the one's
Goliaths
getting
is
caught
already
immediately.
being picked off. He needs to use the Masons to drill and wall. He does start to interrupt them. Only 1 or 2 of them are getting through, so this is splitting the damage quite well. He is going to lose some workers, but Terran can suffer that. They have the quarry, and I think at this stage he's held it just barely. Going for the worker harassment.
The
is
Auroras
not
can
gonna be
only
too
sit there and watch on, because
Yeah.
the fight's happening underneath the Watchdog.
Right.
Oh.
So he is down.
wanted it.
He's down in terms of workers, but only by 2 after all of that, and he still kept most of his Goliaths alive, right? He even kept his cleric alive with 3
He
HP.
wants that cleric.
Oh, never mind. He will go
He's
ahead
gonna
and
get
go
it.
down. Almost lost his Aurora as well to that.
Yeah, I don't know if that trade is really worth it. I mean, you don't want him hitting a critical mass of clerics, but I guess at this point he's kind of like abandoned the whole Stargate thing entirely. Maybe he like built it and was like, "Oh, I hope he doesn't scout it," but it wasn't hidden anywhere, so I'm not really sure. There was some indecision, but it's triple Cenotaph Legionnaires, man.
Yeah, he's going to keep his gas for maybe a sequestered icon, or maybe just use it for engrams or something for defense. Who knows? He is going to send another round of Legionnaires through. Fancies his chances a little bit more this time around, and there is no lobotomy mine there, so this one's going to be a little bit harder to deal with. He's not instantaneously.
He tried to body block it, but it's hard to body block Legionnaires, so
they're
they
just
kill
a
one
little bit
Goliath.
too bursty, yeah. Getting isolated. This composition is not going to be working too well for him. I wonder if he just didn't expect the recommittal into Legionnaires. If he had a decent number of raids, he could actually be doing something here. But as it's
raids would be all right. I mean, you may not kill them very quickly, but at least you're killing them safe. One of them is violently spinning, getting tasered. All the Goliaths are now dead.
He's going to use a cleric to try to heal himself. He is starting to get Harakins out. And as hopefully he doesn't feel too dissuaded, because, like, again, he's only down by 1 worker right now, guys. Like, this is still doable. His Achmed is surveying the battlefield from afar. The cleric is going to keep the
I mean, just sticking some anchors, just to stick the vultures or Goliaths in, just to blockade the inside, so that they can't move around quite as freely, can really help a little bit in this case. But now, you know, maybe he wants to save his minerals, but I think he should just be at least spamming Achmed at this point, or Wraith. Wraith and Achmed would be good.
I really am surprised he doesn't want to, you know, kill the Nidus and extend the game. Maybe he just wants this one to end swiftly.
He probably doesn't feel safe sending units over there at this point, because shit keeps popping through it. He might lose anything he sends over there. That's kind of the risk about attacking the Nidus at this point, is they're just going to keep coming, right? So you don't want to lose random units trying to kill the Nidus when it has 250 health.
3 armor as well, but there's 9 Legionnaires descending upon him, and a lot of them are benefiting from the flash shield, so not looking too hot. Achmed does get a couple of good shots and stops them from regenerating those shields. I'm not sure, have any Legionnaires even died yet? I think a couple of them did just now. A couple of them have been popped, and some of these are very vulnerable. The land effect has arrived to start zoning away the Wraiths, but again, the Watchdog is helping this, and he obviously doesn't want to activate his disruption field there. So
the Vulture got quite a bit of mileage in, seeing as they were ignoring it. It's the only reason that all of his workers aren't dead at the moment. But eventually all Vultures must die terribly. The land effect charges for it. Ah, yes. Dominance established. Now all of his Auroras can dive in and kill the remaining workers.
There is a Wraith up in the top right, but that's literally all he's got right now. As far as military units are concerned.
SAS has been established.
I think
this
in the
Watchdog
chaos
is no longer functional.
Yeah, in all the chaos, I don't think he really remembered to build units. Like, his queues were idle at some point.
Yeah, he wasn't. I was expecting him to spam Achmed's every single time I was up. He definitely had.
This one's dead.
Oh no.
See you, nerd.
It gave an attack sound before it died.
Well, there's another round of Legionnaires.
He didn't have any air units for that. I don't know. He just did it just to do it. He's forced Cenotaph spamming nothing but Legionnaires. You're going to see more and more of this, I bet you. It's been proven to work very well. It's even working against... even against lobsters and Cyprians.
Well, he stunned his own Mason there. I think that was actually going to be the way out. The GG's going to be called, and there's just too damn many Legionnaires. Spam is too strong versus a comp not meant for it. And I don't know. Like, the Cenotaph was scouted by the Vulture, right? Like, maybe he just didn't click on it. Not quite sure.
I don't think you expect a hard committal to Legionnaire, because usually you think it's going to be the Hierophant. But the Hierophant doesn't do that much damage to Goliath. So you're going to stick around and fight anyway. So at that point, you just expect, Legionnaires to, at least some extent, to kill your clerics. The hard commit to Legionnaires is new.
Yeah.
And
I think it really does get...
I couldn't hold it off, and now Meat can't hold it off.
Well, he's not using the right composition for it.
Yeah, well, he could have had more Achmeds, is the thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he was kind of like a little flabbergasted by that, because after the first attack, he had the 1 Achmed, but his queues were idle, and he had like almost 300 minerals. So I'm not sure if he was like trying to save or something and thought the aggression was going to end, but there's no reason to believe the aggression is going to end when the Legionnaire is that cheap. So you just got to commit to Cyprian or Achmed. You got to make the choice, and the anchor wasn't even like quite finished at that point. So I think at this point he's going to be looking for that, and you might see him probably never go Fulcrum ever again. Because Fulcrum is really susceptible to that. Yeah, if he had gone Stockade first and then had the early Cyprians, it definitely would have helped a lot. But he still could have gotten surrounded. So.
Yeah, I think when he had the Vestry out, like, Huracan Cleric is no joke against that.
No. Me can end it here. You're the one who's winning. Stop killing him, and then he can end it.
Okay. He's just typing. He's trying to get the typing out. He's getting the typing out of his fingers.
Listen, I tried to go for peace, and you fucking murdered me.
Did you?
He should never give you peace. He should only give you tism. I want to see some feet. I want to see some proxy feet.
Well, he's going to the quarry first, so he's still going to go and commit to his economic.
You need to murder this Legionnaire spammer. I don't care how you do it, but it's got to be cheesy.
Cenotaph
It's
opener.
just straight into Cenotaph.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the same thing, exactly.
Well, he has the
this
tools
time
to defeat
Meat's
it now,
preparing for it.
He's got the stockade. He's starting to continue harvesting gas so that he can start to afford some Cyprians. And his Mason will get there to scout in time, so...
I still think that like the Matador opening can work, but it's hard to pull off when they're immobile and things can just walk past them.
Yeah, you need to use them as a formal wall, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
you gotta
Keaton's
have them in the
voice
right
acting
place.
even
And if
says
you're like
that.
me and you don't realize they're even sieged,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
trying to move them and nothing's happening and you're confused.
It's actually not that different, to be honest, than normal. He's just... absolutely sassed.
I hated this map because in the game I played against you, where I was tearing you or Zerg, and it lasted like an hour of me slowly draining out the map.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't build ion cannons in all those walkways because they're unpathable.
I like how that's your reason for hating.
Yeah. This Legionnaire just tisming out. So now he knows it's going to be Legionnaires. I'm sure that that comes as a tremendous shock to him given the last game. If he had watched our games, he would have seen this coming from a mile away and realized, oh yeah, at some point it's going to be all Legionnaires.
Well, he can either go for the Cyprian or he can go for an anchor for the Mavericks. Either way, I think it'll be okay and insulated.
I think you really have to go like Cyprian or Achmed. I don't think anything but is going to cut it at this point.
Well, I'm just thinking in the context of like the first couple of units, the first attack. He's already starting to move the wall into place.
Every moment you hesitate, there's another moment he's building fucking Legionnaires.
He likes the fact that they say
are
we
like
are
the
Legion.
de facto aggro
Yeah.
for Protoss. It is. I don't think there's anything more aggro you can get.
No.
He's trying to strat him. He's gonna make a fucking Clarion.
Now this is
Mark my
pretty.
words.
This is pretty meme. Like
This is all in.
yeah.
And it can be dummy. This is because he knows it's gonna be Cyprians. So he wants a little bit of extra beef so they don't get fucking annihilated going up that round. And since you're not spending the gas anymore, all you're building is Legionnaires. Why not?
But the thing is, like, that could have been anything else. So if it doesn't work on, like, basically the first attack, I actually don't know what he's even going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can build the flying workers, but, I mean, one of those couldn't kill a Hydra, so not exactly the best unit to build at this point unless you're looking at doing some weird proxy shit, which would work if you are super far ahead.
Right.
But
well, it wouldn't be
otherwise
as
it's
risky
like,
if you were super far ahead, but otherwise it's a huge gamble. Now, the Legionnaires are going to, you know, stop this Mason from scouting up, so they won't actually see the Strident Stratum. But he'll see that it's still...
He'll see that it's
pure
30 Legionnaires.
He'll also see they're still at home, which is heartening.
Yeah.
Probably. The Wraith is going to come out, and that will reveal the Clarion, of course.
Well, by the time that Wraith comes out, I think the first Clarion will be either out or just coming out. And by the time he sees it, I imagine Shambler is just going to wait for it. I'm kind of surprised he didn't like move up just to make sure there isn't any proxies. Like, there was no checking for proxies at all.
There's not really checking for proxies in for either of these players in any of the series that we have, so... The Wraith
I mean,
now
Shambler
gonna
doesn't usually do the whole proxy cannon thing. I kind of gave up on it when people started reaching too high of a skill level to really, like, fake them out. Like, I couldn't fake Shambler out building the pylon in his mineral line or whatever. But Meat doesn't care, usually. It seemed like he would do it. But he doesn't do it in these matches.
Well, he is going
and
to
even though
catch the
Shambler's
movement.
not respecting it.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah,
he didn't. He saw the move out on the minimap, but he didn't actually pan around to take a look. So he doesn't know there's a Clarion with that army.
His Wraith is also not moving into the base yet, so
yeah,
that information may be alien to him for some time. Oh,
well, look at the anchor wall that's being formed over here. He's going to have 6 Cyprians launching shots at these Legionnaires.
That's a lot of feet.
Yeah.
There's also Achmeds being built too. Just 2 of them currently, but they're not currently in range of the Clarion. They got to get away from him. Oh, one died. The Clarion.
I don't know about leading with the Clarion. Yeah, he just gets absolutely eviscerated immediately because he wasn't very careful.
There
with his
it is.
position.
That's the solution. That's what you've got to do.
Yeah, that didn't work out too well, did it, Shambler? It had already lost most of its shields without even splitting the damage to anything else because it was so far away. So he just absolutely
This
gambled.
is where you got to go analogs.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have
Like,
the gas.
analogs will work against this.
He literally spent all of his gas on 2 Cenotaphs, a Strident Stratum, and a single Clarion.
He is building an artisan.
Yeah.
Hell, why not? May as well. Proxy engram him. It may not have worked for me, but you know, if Mystery is maybe like 10 pints into the game, you might be able to. Oh, it's gonna be Ahmed.
An Ahmed drop is once again fomenting.
The Wraiths have appeared, and the only thing that can fight them is the Wardens. Well, maybe can the Artisan?
Yeah, the
attack
Artisan
them?
can attack air, but it's
An Artisan might win against a Wraith. I'm not sure.
not two of them though.
It won't win against the Hydra, but I think the Hydra does more DPS. I'm not sure, actually. It does have 2 armor pen. The Wraiths have no armor, though.
Yeah.
More importantly, it has 2 armor, and the Wraiths have no armor pen. I think that's the big difference between them and the Hydra.
Yep.
He's gonna proxy, I know it. He's gonna proxy Engram, mark my words.
Yeah, I mean, he's not spending his gas on anything.
I don't think he even saw the Artisan, so this is gonna be something unusual. Oh, it's the lattices. Shambler's just gone full cheese. He's gone loopy.
Like, what? What is the grand
This
final
is what you
turned
do.
into?
This is what you do.
Hey, you found another spot for it. Redundancy.
Hey, look at that. That's useful knowledge. That's game insights. See, my mistake when I tried to do this against, what was it, Durgan Fantasies in the PvP, is I needed to have a trail of engrams going up into his base. I just didn't have quite enough money for that. Oh, he notices the first one, or the second one, rather. But he's going to think he deflected something here, when in reality there's an engram being built in his base.
It's pretty far away from affecting any change. The anchors are flying across the map, though, so...
Oh, yeah, I mean, better late than never, I suppose.
I think
He
the
knows that
Doom
he's
drop
locked up
here
in
is
his
just going to
base.
kill him. I don't think he's spent all of his money on defenses in the wrong base, buddy. He's got nothing.
That's not the wrong base. That's the right base. This is how you have to do it, because you have to cover the one when it's being built. That was the mistake I made against DF, is if it's in vision, they're going to come in and attack it. The engram is something you want them to dive on something while it's being built, because then the engram splashes them. I didn't have that, so 3 of them finished, and he ignored the Artisan for a long time, but I wasn't able to get them. But just one was sitting in the back line and shooting at him in the entire time. Then you get this circumstance, and you know...
Well, it doesn't
This
matter.
is-
I think he's about to... It's go time,
This
boys.
is
Double Anseal,
so
4 Trojans,
many-
Ahmed's galore.
There's so many Ahmed.
And the anchors are going to descend.
Do you think he has any idea?
I think he saw it, and he's like, yeah, whatever. I got anchors in your base too, buddy.
It's okay. He gave him some more sims. That'll help him.
Not
I
without
thought
the
he was going to
selection
make
extender.
vassals. Oh, Ahmed has discovered the wall, but you know, this wall is quite well suited to dealing with Ahmed.
Yeah, no kidding. Just instantly melts everything. Hey, he's going to get a single warden. That's more than I thought he would get. But again,
Criticism is increasing.
there's nothing. There's
But,
nothing here.
the Masons are getting
Oh,
massacred.
my
Oh my
Ahmed.
God, the Ahmed! So many Ahmed. The Ahmed Nation has returned.
It's over, boys. Ahmed has arrived. The Shambler will have to do this in Game 5 or bust because he's not winning this. He doesn't even have any production facilities. Well, he's building an
Listen,
Nexus.
Shambler can
He's
build.
building an Nexus at the top right.
Yeah, this is how you do it.
This is dumb.
This is what I was going to do against Beaver. He just happened to scout
Inside
in
his
that
mineral
one
line?
place of all the places in the map.
Oh, you're
He
talking
scattered in
about-
that one place. That's Zerg versus Terran.
Well, sucks. Because it needed to be finished. Owned! Absolutely owned.
I didn't need the hatchery to be finished. It didn't defeat me when the hatchery was.
Yeah, it's like an old rule set. It's supposed to be finished. I had the wrong one on for Sunstarved. Yeah, fuck that.
Listen, if I hadn't missed that Gorga core, I might have been able to pull out of that. But I forgot. I
Good
forgot it
fucking
existed. The game was too retarded for me to keep up with it.
All right, well, that was really dumb.
Oh, I don't go in the player slot. Why am I in the player slot? I'm too used to playing games today.
Yeah, got him. Yeah, no, Shambler wasn't winning that anyway, but he got.
It was a valiant effort, but me knew it was coming.
I can't believe we're taking the very long and circuitous route to declare the champion here. It's neck and neck, but the games have been Very hot.
The games have been very goofy, that's for sure. I thought, honestly, when I saw the 2 lettuces, he's just going to spam nothing but vassals, just say fuck it. I don't think Kean realizes that the wardens were the attack force. I mean, you should just display like small Achmed portraits.
Right.
I mean, all just for every unit, like every unit is Achmed.
Yeah. In spirit.
I actually have to put drops in my eyes because they're really bothering me. Oh fuck, I can't find them. Oh, there they are. This is the final match. Will Shambler take it really seriously?
I think he's tired, man. He had to play a best of 5 against you. And that first match against Nemesis. So.
I definitely think I drained Shambler's soul, particularly in that Terran game. Like, that probably has lasting psychological damage.
I know. Because he has to go up against Meat's Terran specifically, right? So.
Yeah. And then Meat does, like, nearly the exact same thing in the first game, just way more successfully.
Hey, he did have a pretty good counter to the analogs, though. Sustaining past the retaliation damage and so on.
I have to watch the cast for that game because I'm sure it is extremely stupid. I'm sure you had a good laugh on that one.
Oh, I was talking about how at some point I take a sponsored sip and I say it's sponsored by Shambler's Keyboard or something. All right, we're getting started here, boys. It's Equilibrium for the Decider. That's just how the map veto shook out. Honestly, despite what people say about Death Spiral, I feel like the opening game shows its merits to some degree, although I'm sure the layout could use some work.
Death Spiral to me is meme spiral. Every game I have seen or played on that map has been a meme one way or another. Nothing is ever standard on it.
Well, we'll have to see if we can't fix that, or just replace it with a better one in the future. But for now, we're on Equilibrium. A more tried and true.
I mean, if I ever hand you a map, it's going to be like pure meme. So you better watch out.
Well, Shambler's back to typing very early, but he is in the top right. This is our Protoss. What is he? Peach? Our Peach Protoss against the Aero Terran.
If he builds a Cenotaph again... Well, he's not mining gas, so that's not going to happen.
Gateway. He's playing standard. You know, in the match against you on Equilibrium, where he went for a Gateway opener, I called out saying, that sounds a little weird to say, but I think maybe Shambler is scared. Because that was the match after he had lost on Repulsion, right? He went for the Rogue Gallery opener. And then on the opening matchup, obviously he had gone for that like wacky... Or no, on the Nitro Valley match, he went for that wacky Stargate opener. And then before that, he had gone... Some other thing that I can't remember. I honestly don't remember what it was. But it was something non-standard, right? So he was finally playing standard 4 maps in, right? After dropping a match to you. And it was like 2-1 at that point. And then you were able to come back even as, you know, what I believe is your weakest race. But, you know, in general, apparently a race that maybe Shambler or stylistically like struggles against you on. And I thought for a second, like, man, he's going Gateway first. Like, he's actually playing scared. But then, of course, on Nemesis Station, he decided to just spam nothing but Legionnaires.
Yeah, and it wasn't the first time I had dealt with Legionnaires, but it was the first time I dealt with such like committed non-stop Legionnaires.
Right, you're always expecting
pariahs
them to finish,
were the good choice,
right.
But I forget who it was. What was it, Biddy or someone who did that initially? That won that game really slowly with the Panoptises. So that was like my sole experience with that kind of like really dedicated. I mean, it wasn't even that much because he had Hierophants mostly for a while. And I built pariahs to counter them. But, of course, Shambler's mechanics and the dedication to just Legionnaires mostly was way harder. Yeah. So, definitely the warden placement, I think, is what fucked me up a lot in that game. Because the most important first fight, the one that set me behind,
It was the
in
one where the
military
warden
the
wasn't
most,
active, yeah.
is the one when the warden, it looked like it should be attacking stuff down the ramp.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Well, they were
And then
just barely on the ramp, so they didn't.
I built
benefit
another
from it.
one, I think, behind the gateways, and that was also not attacking stuff down the ramp at some points. And, like, I needed those extra firepower to even the military, and also to try to deny diving the ramp at least a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the pariahs came out too late, and the Cantor came sooner than I expected, and I was able to stop it from doing too much damage, but it was obvious that, you know, he figured out, well, Legionnaires are really, really cheap, and you can just do this if you can't, like, keep them out. I thought Zealots would be a little more effective, but yeah. I don't honestly know what you're supposed to do as Protoss against that without going Pariahs, because you either need to have, like, 3 gateways and go, like, Zealot Ecclesiast and pay way more money and gas when he's just making nothing but Legionnaires, or you have to somehow have a wall that doesn't leak, which is apparently really difficult.
Yes. Well, even if it doesn't leak, the Legionnaires could still teleport to the other side, right?
Yeah.
Potentially, depending on how the marks display. So this Dracodon was the only Dracodon that was sent to the other side of the map until just recently, because Shambler went for a Nexus immediately after his first Dracodon. So
Embassy.
interesting.
His Embassy and Lattice. So I'm not quite sure about his build here. It's something very specific. He's got a Manifold and a Dracodon in his base.
As well as a Scribe idling, waiting to build something. But he's currently being
fast
kerfluffled
expand.
by
It's
the-
some kind of very specific. I feel like the Embassy is going to be just early detection, taking a page out of DF's book, probably because he really doesn't want to be Ahmed dropped again.
Well, it seems like a pretty solid strategy that Mist is pioneering in some ways. He has his base set up.
Not many people build a lot of defenses inside their mineral line like I do.
Yeah.
So this is not, you can't do this. Every time you try to do this, it ends the exact same way.
Well, if with better control you can, but you need... That's
It's
step
too
one.
much health to go through. It's
Yeah.
way too much health to go through. Not with 2 Dracodons, he can't do.
Yeah. I mean, he could have maybe like tried to be somewhat abusive with the ranges and stuff, but not going to end up happening there, so... Cyprian bunker, or anchor as it were, was going to reposition here. Wraith is already out, Star Pad opener. Accentuating this place, and it looks like Shambler wants to go for a fast third base, but that means he's kind of lax on military, right? So you have to watch out for...
Yeah, I don't know. Against Mean, I think if third is risky. I also feel like that pylon might just be to scout in case he tries to do a run by.
Well, he's going to see the 3 Dracodons, but if he continues to scout around, he'll see there's actually not much military, and also not much
He really
military
is going to make
capacity.
another bit. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, this is basically calling Mead out as saying, hey, if you want to be, like, generally on the more skittish side, I'll just sit here and take the whole map. What he doesn't
yeah,
know
but
is
he
that there's
hasn't
2...
even scouted Mean. Like, there
Yes,
could be
yeah.
Ahmeds being built right now and a Trojan being built right now,
Yeah.
and he has no idea. I mean, he can make the assumption based on the rest of the games, but 1 warden in each base is not going to stop a horde of Ahmeds. You've already experienced this atrocity a few times now. And you can't put any early pressure on this Nat at this point. So I don't know. It's definitely a little risky, but I mean, this is how you can take games, is by doing some really stupid shit. And the Witness has come to Mystery's base, but nah, the gig's up. He's gonna see all the Ahmeds, but the first Trojan has already. He might have seen it. Oh, and it's dead.
So what's important to note there is that another thing you can do in CMBW that you can't do in stock StarCraft, you can click on structures by your enemy that are detected, and you can see what's building in them. So he could have seen that Ahmeds were in the production queue. Not sure if he actually did that. Didn't look like it for me. But
It's very easy to forget that one.
yeah. So, another Trojan is nearly complete. Another round of Ahmeds will be as well. And he can easily double drop this third and just destroy it before it can even do anything. It's
Yeah.
a little bit riskier to do it to the natural. But I say that, all of the units are on the other side of the map, and obviously the anchors are still in play. So, he can
Yeah,
very
like I said,
easily
this-
go for this.
Every base is a viable target at this point.
Yeah.
The main has a couple units in it, but if he waits for 2 Trojans full of Achmeds, plus the Ansil, which is what he has, he could take the main for sure. At least he could deal huge damage to it. That's where the highest concentrated workers are. The vassals did not respond to that. May not have known it was there, but this what? Oh, very wisely pulls it back just in time before the warden ends up killing it, causing the day of the Achmed, the day of the rake. So this base is annihilated.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be. I mean, some units have responded.
Might get a few Achmed kills out of this, at least. Some token Achmed. Oh, one down.
Yeah, 2 of them ended up dying for 2 Harakans and some damage on a Trojan.
So he just rebuilds it. Fuck it.
He
wants it. He's taking it.
Pretty significant stuff. He did also kill a Wraith during the kerfluffle, and there's a witness well placed on the 3rd there, so that's going to help scout out when they end up leaving. I'm not sure that the Ansil was able to spot that, but an Atlas has been.
I think the Ansil went past it. It's more like, did he pay attention to it, because it is kind of in a weird spot. I mean, if when you call somebody making a drop play, it takes a long time to set up the drops and actually perform them. Even if he destroys the base in each and every single time, hypothetically, you can do what Shambler's doing and rebuild a base faster than he can destroy them, so long as you can either do enough damage to slow down the drop, or deter the drop, or, otherwise keep it from being constantly cycling. That was the issue I had with Nablime, where I was able to keep building bases against Nablime because he was sending 7 drop ships at a time, full of madrigals and shit that were just instantly killing everything. And the game went on forever because of that. It was just this constant, incessant back and forth. The problem is that I couldn't take any map control at the same time, which could be an issue that Shambler might have here. Depending on this... Now, I mean, Nat's pretty protected, but his witness spotted this 3rd, so he's going to be able to deny the 3rd, but the feet are coming.
I don't know if he's going to be able to deny it after all, although at this point, Mist is a little bit skittish. Doesn't even want to test attacking into 6 Drakadins.
I thought he was just going to land them on there and then bring in the Trojans at the last minute and then drop them. Instead,
Canada. And an engram tickles the Trojans. I'm not sure that Shambler saw that. Nothing in the main, though. Again, honestly. Absolutely nothing in the main. There is a Cantavis that might be end up being useful here, but Wraith is going to start tickling that one. Shambler will get distracted by it.
Meat just needs to go for the main at this point. The main remains extremely vulnerable. The Nat remains extremely vulnerable. And either one of those would be great targets right now, but he hasn't scouted those. Ran right past the witness. No fucks given.
No, the workers are being pulled. I don't think he's going to be able to successfully get through that. There's the storm.
Achmed does die.
Yeah.
Achmeds are getting a little split up. The scribes are on fire.
Now, that was a little bit of a botched storm. That's not exactly where you want it to be. And these Achmeds are going to be committed. So, the Trojan's here to maybe try to pick him up. And, never mind. He's moving that away, too.
Yeah, he's trying to avoid the pincers coming in from the bottom.
Well, he does do a lot of damage to that Nexus. It's going to be a lot more vulnerable to future drops in the meantime. Treasury
this is precisely what Shambler wanted to happen, though. This diffuses a lot of pressure for a while. That said, this Vassal, working so hard to try to deny this 3rd again, did kill a Mason, but it cannot stop the descent of the feet.
About to get stepped on. A lot of idle scribes in the 3rd now get corrected there by Shambler. Technically has the economic advantage despite the worker deficit because he's had his 3rd operational for a lot longer. Wants to see if he can deny this. He's rotating a lot of units in that direction. He built a 2nd embassy, and I'm actually not really sure what it was for. I don't think it was a mistake like
it was unintentional.
Yeah, you built 5 of them. That was pretty good.
I wanted lattices.
Yeah.
It consumed all my money, and I looked at it, and I was like, that's not a lattice.
Storm drop in the bottom. That's the natural here. Should be able to get a couple of shots, but there's instantaneously a response there from the 4 Maverick anchor.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, there's a much more juicier target on the second one. He can drop 1 more, and there he goes. Even get some Achmed damage along the way. Well, that was pretty reasonable. That brings the workers down exactly level and also stops some harvesting for a little bit. Unfortunately, the Envoy does not survive.
That was avoidable. He could have taken the long way around through his back of his main. But
could have scouted out and confirmed the side.
Maybe he did that intentionally just to scout it out? I don't know.
I think he just...
Whatever the case was, it died miserably. There's just all Achmed. Ahmed Phalanx. This is a familiar sight.
Hey, this geyser in the natural never got resaturated, so Meat's gonna have a rude awakening when he recognizes that. Oh, never mind. He's making a fool out of me.
He's got some workers on there, yeah. That witness in the third, however, continues to spy upon him, learning interesting things about Masons and Mason habitats.
He's so close to having a third worker. Oh, no, he does. He has 3 workers. He has 3 workers on the geyser.
He figured out the secret. He did.
He did it.
He knows the secret.
Oh, my God. Well, both players are keeping their money relatively low compared to what we see normally. A Maverick is finding a hidden hidey hole in the mid-right. Ashrold is a good tile site, guys. Hey, how'd I get here?
Oh. Ah.
Dodgeball.
See you later.
All right, well, enough of that silliness. And yes, a fleet beacon, as you mentioned.
It's going to be... I mean, I honestly think at this stage that the analog is just a better choice. When you spot the phalanx and everything, it's just... Take the analog and the Clarion at this point. I mean, yeah, you can go Empyreans at this point, but you have to assume he's going to be going right up to tier 2.5 like he has been before. You're just going to run into the same issues with Vultures again.
Well, the small squadron in the middle gets cleaned up there. No repairs or healing or anything of the sort. So that wounded phalanx is probably not going to be long for this world. Grand Library. Training Atriuses has been for a while. And the Empyrean instantly started. Another Storm Drop fomenting. That's in the other double gas base on the low ground, but the Anseal is here. Oh, and it scouts him out. Calling him out, too. If he does that one more time, another Phalanx shot will execute him.
In he goes.
Oh,
what? The holy day of the Ahmed.
I think he can just make the run for it at this stage. He's, you know, confirming positioning of more military units on the side, and he also confirms there's not really a whole lot going on this side, too. So he's going to try to go after that envoy. It's not going to be successful.
Yeah, the envoy moves like greased lightning.
At the same time, there's 6 more phalanxes rallying up, so...
I don't know, I mean, if he keeps committing heavily to phalanxes, the Empyrean could cause him some pain because no tier 2.5 or starports are en route.
There is only one of them so far, though, and that means that it's manageable. I mean, he's only got a single anti-air unit besides the Mavericks. Actually, you know what?
I feel like if you stack Augments up like a giant Jenga tower, they might be able to reach it and pull it back down.
Yeah, that's true. Well, if the Mavericks don't get cleared here, which I believe they will based on the rest of this positioning, he could actually threaten the Empyrean. It's just has 4 armor, so it takes a while. These phalanxes on the top are relatively naked, but that Zealot doesn't take very long before it dies, so... A lot of Sims just exploded all at once, and the Ahmed zone out everything else. Again, not a crazy amount of anti-air over here. The phalanxes are going to have to unsiege and fall back as anti-air is wrangled. Goliath's in the production queue already. He's actually pushing
Charges forward into the engram.
He's not too interested in... He thinks I've got more phalanxes than you've got Empyrean missiles, buddy. And that might actually be true, but they're not all in the right spot. Engram's going to go down to Mavericks, not a site that you normally see. And reinforcements have come up from the north. Meanwhile, the base in the top left is being defended by Mavericks as Treasury, with a very scant amount of HP, mind you, is barely alive. And phalanxes have withdrawn as an Empyrean is...
The Empyrean dives into the feet.
The Watchdog is going to get him, I think. Oh, 28 HP. Just barely managed to get out. The Goliath's getting occupied by the Phalanx, so... Could have happened, and it really pretty much did happen, so... A second fleet beacon on the way.
No, the simulacrums.
No, they didn't. He didn't need those.
How will Shambler ever recover?
Double Vestry for Clerics. That'll automatically heal up a lot of the wounded units on this side, and he's
terrifying Vassal Armada heads to that burning treasury that Mystery Meat has not repaired.
I don't think he noticed it, but this might remind him.
He doesn't know.
I mean, the Vassals could even kill it, but...
Single simulacrum has arrived. Simulacrum has dispersed. Meat is going to be so confused. He fended off the vassals. Why is the fucking treasury dead?
Yeah, 15 health. Still hasn't tasked anything onto it. His camera panned over there for a moment. His fountainhead's nearly complete. His treasury, 3, 2, 1, kaboom! It's gone, boys.
It's gone.
Absolutely gone. It was burning when it finished. No capped geysers except for the, well, everything besides the third, so never mind. Winnis leaves. It's done its job here. And 2 Empyreans have arrived as well to try to apply some pressure. I was looking for some starports, and they're halfway done in the
There is a fountainhead, yeah.
It's going to be a while before those turn into Valkyrie-producing machines here. The Goliaths are not in a position to stop this base from going down.
The workers are getting annihilated. How could you do this?
He's going to walk right into this Watchdog, which could get repaired if Mist is on the ball, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen because the Arsenal is on the right side. The Engram getting shellacked. Mason charges forth to try to repair it, but it dies. And multiple Engrams going down. A wounded Empyrean is instantly vaporized by Goliaths. And there's still plenty of Phalanxes here, and only about 1 or 2 Wardens left, along with some Vassals. The Empyreans are actually somehow, I think one of the Empyreans withdrew, and the other one is here to try to clean this up. So that actually opens the door for some rallied Valkyries to potentially deal with that. Another Empyrean awaits in the back line, and there's only 3 Goliaths and some Clerics to deal with it, while the other one from the north has arrived as well.
Well, this one Empyrean's going to get annihilated by the Goliaths, that's for sure.
Reinforcement Goliaths, or someone's I perhaps just didn't notice.
Slips away with a sliver of health.
Yeah,
Another one
not
is
for long.
tickling some tank. And he's dead. Rest in penises. The envoy up. Destroyed. There's just so many tanks. It takes too fucking long to kill them all. What's a boy to do? The scribe watches on from that secret ledge as the Goliaths just tank it down. There's just too many tanks. There's too much beef. Meanwhile, the first batch of Falks are on the way.
Yep. Already a couple of them are.
I don't think he even really needs them, though. I think his Goliaths are more than enough to ward them off.
So during this time, Shambler committed further into Fleet Beacon tech with a 3rd one on the way. Plenty of Empyreans out of position all over the map. He's lost.
Yeah, they're all getting picked off single file.
He's not successfully rooted out the top left one.
It's okay, he's typing.
And he's typing.
I'm more curious why he was building simulacrums against his comp. He must have had some kind of plan.
Oh, he's probably just thinking he needs to spend his minerals, but I honestly think Vassals would have
Listen, that's what you use Legionnaires for.
Yeah, that too, honestly. That would have taken care of a lot of the Goliaths.
That would have helped a lot with the tanks. And the Goliaths. You already know they work against Goliaths. There's not that many Ahmed anymore. You don't have to be afraid of Ahmed now. Ahmed, it isn't real. Well, the clerics just... Oh. They all died.
They got confused. They thought it was the dance number, and then they got evaporated. There's not that many Valkyries here, but one of the Empyreans are wounded, so they'll just end up going kaput. And some more reinforcements are here as well.
Rest in penises. It's okay, the Vassals are coming. At this point, I think Shambler has been thoroughly tickled to death in shambles.
Yeah, I think Mist's mech play has given him the win in this particular matchup. He's down to 2 bases once this one gets sieged, and the Engram is pretty much his last hope. It's going to go down.
Yeah, the clerics do pretty well at healing that. A bunch of them died because they all clustered up and were healing a Goliath, but by that point, they had done their job anyway.
We get to marvel at DF's work on the Phalanx, at least.
Yes.
Even Shambler can
actual
join
firing animations.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk?
I guess that was in the beta or something, or maybe it was fan-made originally, but DF has preserved that. It's really funny. Look at this Maverick staying alive. Staying alive.
Oh, yeah, he's got...
He'll get him. He'll fuck him up, dude. Oh, never mind.
Oh, nah, he died. They hesitated. You can't hesitate, man. Gotta bunch him up, round him up, knock him down.
Well, the Empyreans can turn on these, and there is a Count Davis ready to storm them.
Oh!
That forces them to reposition at least, otherwise they're going to take a whole
Storm's
lot
damage
of damage.
is not particularly enormous, but it's a little bit.
Well, it's mostly area denial, because if you stay under the whole thing, it's going to really hurt you. Here come the focus fire from the Empyreans. Oh, they changed targets halfway through, and they're not too interested in finishing their meal. But here come the Valkyries, and you're too far away from the Cantavis.
It's okay. He's got 2 simulacrums to lead the charge as they tickle.
He's really trying to use the cast, but it's not working out too well.
He's really trying, just not close enough.
Well, if he takes the charge with the 2 very healthy Empyreans instead of the weakened ones on the front line, which he's not doing, then maybe he could have a chance here of doing something.
Oh, no.
But that 3rd base has fallen. And at this stage,
Yes.
the Terran is ahead by 2 bases, guarding all of the other ones on the map, even with a single Maverick on the 3rd. Couple Valkyries. Decent shots here for Shambler, but he needs to trade super cost efficiently, and I don't know that he's going to do that. He's overstepped his boundaries a little bit here, I think. He's going to turn and...
got the Maverick at least.
Yeah, he's
got to count for something.
He's starting to deal a lot of damage to the stacked Valkyries. The splash obviously is affecting the ground units too. Despite the storm, though, unfortunately for Shambler, he did lose another one. And some Amarants died elsewhere. Oh yeah, over on the front gates. Well, now the Empyreans can help with this because all the Valkyries are going back home to try to heal from the Shamans. Unfortunately, though, Shambler's lost his defenses.
What will you do without your engrams? What can you do? Why live?
You know, versus the Goliaths, some defenses on the high ground would have helped him out quite a bit, just because it would have shellacked all the clerics and etc. The Empyreans could then have maybe focused a little bit more heavily on the Valkyries.
There's so many clerics. Just send forth a single Goliath with all the clerics and just tank all the Empyreans. Or a tank in tank mode, that would probably work. Shambler has no gas. He's also not really that well saturated on his main, which kind of contributes to that problem. In fact, one of his gas workers is kind of just chilling out there. The Wraith died right next to it. Here it begins, the
Here's
typing.
the typing.
This map is the typing map.
It's true, actually. But he's obviously going to... He literally won. He won 2 games.
He just won. Oh, it's beginning. Oh, it ended. Shame.
Brother.
Brother.
You type too much. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What the fuck? I think maybe Mist is Canadian.
Yeah, that definitely is like a Canadian moment. I know that feeling very well.
I don't know. I think this Empyrean force could actually deal with this.
He's got to line them up. The ground units are the worst part of it now. Once he can kill all the Valks.
Fuck those Mavericks, though. Well, the Cantavis can drop a storm on the Goliath, stopping them up a lot. Valkyries are going to get absolutely melted. See, if Shambler was typing a little bit less, even on the 2 bases, he's got such powerful tech. It's
I don't know. I
take
think typing gives him power. Typing is why he's succeeding.
I don't know.
It's Gorgons. You don't have to worry about those. There's so many medics. It's going to take him half an hour just to kill all those alone. It's a Gorgon. You don't have to worry about it. It's 2 Goliaths and a Gorgon.
Just
3 Goliaths. There you go. That's what it's all about. What's he gonna do? Snort on you? He's just got like 30,000 Goliaths back in his face. Stop making augments, though. Come on, that man is just as vulnerable as it's always been. It's just begging for Ahmed to grace it.
Well, there were some Valkyries as well, but they're back at home, and no additional ones have been made. Some vassals are here to try to take the brunt and have scouted out the additional Goliaths. I don't know, the Empyreans are doing pretty hot right now.
Just don't want to split up your damage fighting tanks. You gotta wait for the Valkyries to bunch up, yeah.
Well, if he had targeted the back one, then the front one and the back one would have died in that context. He's focusing down the Goliaths, but really needs to hit those Valkyries to stop getting splashed. Even still, with all of that, he only loses 2 Empyreans, and he kills all the Valkyries, and maybe like a third or a fourth of the Goliaths, while microing rather poorly. I don't know.
Meat is growing across the map just like his pool of money, even though he's got the dad coming up. I'll just wait for the Daedalus to come up, followed by the diadem.
How is he? He didn't lose any. He didn't lose any though. Why is he even typing?
I mean, it is like 6 spaces versus 2 that are mined out, mind you.
He's just raging, dude. He's mad.
I mean, you could be using those embassies to make like 30 witnesses.
Oh, he's overstepped his boundaries here, though. At least one of those is going to go. No, maybe not.
You gotta go south. Gotta go south, hombre.
There goes that one. And the Valkyrie's coming up from the north.
And the Valkyries are waiting. It's too late. Too little, too late. Oh, right into the face. And fucked. Ass fucked. Annihilated. Destroy it.
Oh, he's got one left. And another one almost.
Oh, okay. He's slowly
I'm waiting for
amassing.
the, come on, A-move me. That's always funny to me. Yeah,
there it is. Listen, he just finished it. See? He just finished. Okay. Then show it.
Yeah, what if he
lift
just
off the
lifts it
Daedalus and fly it into his base?
Yes. That's the disrespect play, dude. That's 1,400 of each resource.
He can make a second one.
Yeah.
Just build a second one and fly them both into his base.
Watch
there it is. There's the apothecaries.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, do I even need to wait for the GG? I mean, I will, but do I have to? He can only win while being mad. Yeah. Not a million miles away from being true, actually. A lot of Valkyries here to deal with the air. Again, there's just Empyrean. Yeah, there it is. Dude, there's like a bingo card we could make where Shambler gets tilted. Well, one is obviously tactical lag. One is A-move me. One is show me your tier 3. Jeez. Oh, there's Patrick. Yeah, Patrick, thank you. Thanks for typing GG, dude. I appreciate it. Maybe by your example, Shambler will learn the thing. Hey, apothecaries are out for the silver tongues. That'll finish the job. Yeah, I'm glad to see some people using that structure because the units out of it are actually quite effective. It's just they have their own sort of niches. The silver tongue is probably a little bit more generalized. Actually, even against Empyreans, it's pretty reasonable.
I tried to use it against Benno, but I made a really bad mistake by drawing his units towards where I was going to drop.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
That didn't go too well. I mean, I realized I made a terrible calculation. Otherwise, I mean, the ones I had elsewhere, like, they're definitely very strong units. Yeah. The Dilettantes just kind of gunned down everything. They're not like a super giga massive step up from the Madcap, but they're more survivable.
Mm-hmm.
They're not super, super expensive, so you can kind of throw in some while you're building other stuff.
The first round of Silver Tongues has been completed, so it'll start slapping these Empyreans from afar. There it is. A move.
He waited so long. Now
really
he's seen it.
He wants to.
He wants the A move.
Well, this isn't Selection Center, bro. Look at all these units. There's 173 military units. How am I going to move all this? Oh, he's...
Yeah, that's like 100 Goliaths.
He's trying to move. He's A-moving. He's A-moving. He's A-moving the scribes. He's getting ready. He's getting ready for the group photo. Oh, Shambler.
He's got 137 workers. Listen, that's definitely enough to kill a few phalanxes. Here they come!
Underlay. Well, absolutely slapped.
He might kill medics through friendly fire, I'm not sure.
Hey, he's got the Cantavis. He could drop some storms. There you go.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
They just heal right through it. No fucks given. Cantavis is dead. Oh, he got some. It's just a wall. Up on them guys. Oh, dear. Well, you know...
The thing about clerics is that we fix so much about their internal AI being broken that they actually are a lot more responsive by default than they used to be. So... Yeah,
look at the healing. It's crazy. The Goliath is just tanking. It finally died to like 4 wardens. This is ridiculous. It's like 80 damage every volley. Where are my 2 guys? Observers.
Well, at least we ended it in style. A style, I suppose. What a wacky
This is what you get for
adventure.
banning Maim Street.
I think that was Mystery Me who did that.
Okay, Shambler, you gotta win.
Yeah, you can
You
do
gotta
it.
pull out this Shambler. The dude's floating 8K. You got this. He doesn't have any gas. You can win. Here comes the 2 witnesses ready to end the game.
I guess the only thing that should be allowed to merge Archon style is the witness thing.
Yeah, it just creates like a single scribe.
He's angry. He's angry. He's like, what the hell? You can't even kill my witness. All right, well, boys, Mystery Meat does close it out. Hey, we had 2 5-game series this tournament, and they were both today. Because fuck
They
my
were
sleep
all
schedule.
Tismistic too.
All right, well, GG was said. How do you... do I even need to ask how you felt?
I feel like if Shambler took those as seriously as he took the games with me, he could have won that series.
Yeah, of course.
Like there was definitely periods where like that game is played very solidly. But there were definitely periods before that where there was definitely floating going on. There was definitely opportunity. I mean, like the one game that he was trying he was just like massing engrams out in the middle of nowhere against tanks. Felt kind of like, I don't know, like that. It wasn't going to work. He's already got tanks. There's no point in having them out there. You got to have them on ledges at the very least, right? Like it just didn't feel like he was really in it anymore. Maybe he was just like too tired and too angry or something.
Well, we know the solution to the Shambler, and it's to tilt him.
Yeah, basically.
I tried to.
I mean, I tilted him and I lost it. I lost right after, but in a hypothetical situation.
Listen. He himself did get some practice from me, and I tried to be nice. I played Terran for him, even though it's my worst race. I played on Boskevine, the map that he's got 100% win rate on. Try to give him some good confidence and stuff.
And then Boskevine gets banned in all the matches.
Yep.
I will ban it just because it's so short distance.
Well, there you go. It's not even a personal thing.
I've won on that map, but it's not a map I trust to do well.
Right. Well, I think there will be, since we are going to have a longer delay between this and the next Ascension, and we're going to feel out the pre-release with the selection extenders and all that. Tomorrow, I will do my best before I go into work to get a release update out that will have a lot of fixes to various things and a lot of improvements overall. There are still a lot of other issues that need to be addressed. Some of them were cropped up just today in this tournament. Like, obviously, there's some weird potential instability going on with the analog, but just generally speaking, the way that it scales with the Clarion is clearly not as I intended it to be. And then on top of that, we have the Demiurge interaction where their passive will still tick down with no Demiurges present in the area to maintain it. So that needs to be corrected. Those I'll try to get some sort of revisions to those in tomorrow before I ship the update to release. But the big ticket item is the selection extender, and that will make maintenance a lot easier because I'm not going to be maintaining basically 3 different versions. There's pre-release, there's release for the tournament, and then there's the fact that the code base is so fragmented at that point because the selection extender was such a huge overhaul. But that being said, we are in a state where we can pretty comfortably move beyond and say, hey, we're good to go, We're having a good time. So I'm looking forward to seeing selection extender games. We'll have a Fraudarchy next week instead of a conventional Ascension tournament or whatever, and we'll see where we're at afterwards. And so, yeah, hopefully we can even maybe beforehand triage the hashes that sometimes show up when we're playing FFAs. And if we can get that stable, then who knows what the world has in store for us.
I hope there will be more show me your tier 3 and
yeah, of course.
Proxy engrams.
Big fan of those. Well, I guess that'll do it for us, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
We're all tired over here, and we're going to head to bed and get some rest and all that. So we'll see you very soon for some more action. And, of course, daily uploads of the castovers are coming your way on the channel. So keep your eyes peeled. There's tomorrow, we drop a match between Alexander and Benno that I casted. And then the day after that, the 69th castover ever uploaded to the channel. It's actually a co-cast between myself and Iskatuesk, where Benno, I think it was Benno taking on, who was it? The Shambler.
It was Shambler, yeah.
That was, what a silly game that was.
That was kind of silly, yeah.
Stay tuned for that, and we'll see you soon.